another Chaos Central production. Chaos list. Starring my main man Nzo. 1/3 of three-headed monster we call the Chaos Central crew. This intro is by this show, the Chaos List. I hope you like it, bro. Here we go. The Chaos List is the name of the show, and the name of the host you know is Nzo. If you say something crazy, dumb, stupid, or wrong, it's a one-way trip to the fandom zone to be like Nzo. Hold up, I didn't mean it. Guess what, son? Your ass should have seen it coming. Better watch what you say, just like the Mandalorian. And this is the way. Monday night, 9 o'clock. Second Monday of the month, this is the spot. So get ready, strap on in. The crew is ready, so let's begin. So let's go.
Hey, yo, what is up? What is going on, people? What it do? Bigger Ford Entertainment. I am here today, and I am here to talk about the Fantastic Four. Yes, I went to go see that movie yesterday, and I think a lot of y'all are capping. Yes, I said it. Y'all are capping for this movie. What is going on? So let me see. Mike said he's unsubscribing. No, I hear that from you all the time, Mike, so it's all good. Dewan said, blasphemy. I haven't seen it yet, but hello. I thought people liked this movie. Most people do. Landon the Champ said, what's up? Said Nzo, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Thank you for popping in to watch my review. I'm going to do a quick review by myself, and then if anybody is in the chat that wants to come in and talk about the movie, they can come in as well. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that actually like it, and I guess I could say that I am probably in the majority. And you know what? I am 100% okay with that. I'm usually in the majority, and I'm usually right. But with that being said, you know, I thought Superman was a better movie. Both movies have ups and downs. There's some good stuff in this movie, but overall, I was bored out of my mind. I was bored out of my mind. And I'll tell you what, right? So, and I have it up here, right? So, and I can't show it because obviously the movie's still in theaters, but 20 minutes into the movie, we get the Silver Surfer come in, and that's when she's like, I herald Galactus and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, boom. I start to perk up, right? Because for the first 20 minutes, I was sitting there and I was like, ain't nothing happening so far, right? But it's 20 minutes into the movie, so I can get with that. So after she leaves, they devise the plan to actually go to see Galactus, and they leave at about 35 minutes into the movie. The final 42 minutes into the movie before we get that first chase, which was fire. That first chase was fire, right? So we got our first action sequence 40 minutes into the movie, right? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I'm thinking the movie's going to pick up and it's just going to go straight forward from there. No, they get back to Earth, and then we don't get another action scene until the end of the movie. And I'm like, I didn't come to watch the fucking Fantastic Four talk. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to see action. You had the opportunity to have them fight a lot of their villains. They did a montage of it, right? Of them fighting a few villains at the beginning. You had a chance to put some of that in there, right? Because for one, I think Reed Richards' powers, he doesn't really do much. You know what I mean? Yeah, he stretches or whatever, but he doesn't do much. And in the original Fantastic Four, so 1 and 2, you know, he's wrapping around people and he's showing his powers and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm like, he doesn't do much. His powers suck anyways, right? But for me, I just thought it was extremely boring. So what did you think of Superman? I thought Superman was okay. You know what I mean? I didn't think it's great, but I liked Superman. But this one, I just left the movie like, dude. And I'd like to know what your minor complaints are, Anik, but I'm going to have a few. Just some geeky guy sent the $5 super chat. He said, pass me that Kush because First Step was fire as Johnny Storm, best Fantastic Four film by far. Can't wait for Doomsday. Okay, so if you're gonna say it's the best Fantastic Four movie so far, you may be correct on that. But it's not a high bar, Geeky. It's not a high bar. Like those first two were. The first one was okay. Second one was trash. And then we had Fan Four Stick, which was absolute garbage. So to sit there and say it's the best one so far, yeah, I can agree with that. But at the same time, it's I think Brave New World is a lot better than this movie. Superman is better than this movie, right? And Brave New World has its problems. Don't get it twisted. Brave New World has a lot of problems. You can tell that this movie was reshot and re-edited and things taken out, things put in. But as a movie, it's good. I was fine with it. I was watching my watch. As Danny would say, I wasn't watching my watch. I was watching my watch in this movie. And I peeped over to my son like, this is trash. My son was like, yeah, this is trash. Right? 100%. So I'm trying to okay, so I'll get to what I liked about the movie. Okay. The actors. I'm on my way to this garbage now. What up, Derpy? Yeah, trust me, it's garbage. It is. It is. It's they had potential, right? Because like I said, the actors were great. Pedro Pascal did an amazing job, right? Thing, Johnny Storm, they were all good. They were all good. They all felt like the characters. It was kind of like, you see, this is the thing that I say about Superman, that I say about Fantastic Four. It felt like a superhero movie. It really did. Now, a comic book movie. It felt like that. You know what I mean? That I appreciate. But they gave me nothing, right? I know you're going to say, oh, well, it's the first movie and you got to do all this, world building and let the people know who they are. You could have done that in the first 20 minutes, right? Everybody knows who the hell the Fantastic Four is anyway, so at least most of us do, right? And my theater, when it started, that crowd was hyped. They were chapping there, screaming. I tell you, by the end of the movie, nobody's did shit. Two people sat beside me. They walked out before the end of the movie, right? They walked out. They're like, I don't know, maybe they seen the end already and just got to the part where they seen and then left, but they left before the final action scene, which was the best. The final action scene was great with Galactus and shit, but I do have issues with that as well, So, like I said, my positives, the characters were absolutely amazing. They did a great job. I will never say anything about them. I'm excited to see them. Thank you, T. Brother Nzo movie was mid to me. Thank you, T. Because a lot of people are running around like this is the best MCU movie. And I'm like, no, it's not. Right? First off, Mole Man was absolutely trash. When the minute I seen that guy was cast in the movie and I knew he was going to be Mole Man, I'm like, okay, we're going to get this kind of jokey business. He didn't have much to do in the movie. He didn't do much. But it's just like once they're asking him for help and he's like, oh, no, like that just threw me out there. Nzo, where should I send the L for you to take? Next, you're going to say Dark Knight was a good series. No, Dark Knight's still trash, Mike. I'm still on that one. Right? But as a movie itself, I almost fell asleep. I just told you, there's two action pieces in this whole movie. Two. One of them is a chase. I know you're going to say a chase is an action scene, so I can say that because it is. But it's a chase, then more talking. So the movie is talk, chase. Talk, action. Like, oh my God, like, bro, let's get to it. You know what I mean? Let's get on with it. And oh wait, JG, was the movie trash or what you're saying is trash? Because I'm going to send the link for you guys to come in here after. So I'm going to put it in the chat. So if anybody wants to come in and discuss it with me, no problem. But if JG is saying it's trash, brother, yo, you are on point right now with me. You are on point. Brother Nzo, humans running around here acting like the movie's on the level of Infinity War, greatest Marvel movie. Absolutely 100%. Oh, it was these facts, JG. Facts. 100%. And you know what's funny? And I'll say this too, right? And you can go and look for the clips or whatever. I was the only one, well, out of the crew, saying that I thought this movie was going to be great. I was the only one. Danny had issues with it. He wasn't sure about it. Chris, even though in the text, he's like, I never said it was going to be bad, but you never said it was going to be good either. you doubted the movie just as much as Danny did, right? Spoiler Kings, they were on a like iffy level where it's like, oh, we think it's gonna be good or it's good. You know what I mean? But I was the only one that was running around there saying, I think it's gonna be good. I even said I think it's gonna be better than Superman. I said that, right? Danny messaged me after the movie, and he's like, yo, y'all need to go see Fantastic Four. So I messaged back. I'm like, see, I told y'all it was gonna be good. I told you, and I was hyped. I was like, oh, Daddy likes it. I'm like, this movie's gonna be fire. Boy, 20 minutes into the movie, I was ready to fall asleep. Right? I was like, wait, what's so great about this? What are we doing here? Like, we're just talking. You know what I mean? This is what you're claiming is great? I didn't like it. Now, we got a few problems with this. It said JG movie takes Aaron invalid as it takes on Black Sisters. That's funny. That's the problem. Y'all are comparing it to Avengers type movie. No. I am not comparing it to Avengers type movie. Not at all. People who are loving the movie are saying it's like the best thing since Avengers Endgame and stuff like that. That's not the case. I don't compare it on that. What I compare it on, was it entertaining? Was it enough to keep me satisfied? And no, you could have sprinkled some action scenes in between those actions. Like he talked about the villains that he was monitoring. Well, why didn't we see some of them, right? Why didn't we see some of them doing something? Why didn't we see that? We didn't. We just talk, blah, 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 blah. Now, my major problems with this movie, all right, is, so I'll start with this one. They go to see Galactus, right? Galactus is huge, right? We know Galactus is huge. And not only in this movie, the directors and, all these other YouTubers, they explain that Galactus can shrink himself and then bigger, right? He can get large, he can get bigger. So I'm not exactly sure the scale he was at when they went to go see him, but it looked like he was bigger than the planet. How the fuck did they know that he would be able to shrink down to Earth's side and get on Earth? How did they know that? How did they know that? Like, we're like, oh, we're going to bring him to Earth. Well, how the fuck did you know he could shrink? You don't know nothing about him, right? You literally say in the movie that he is older than the universe itself. So what the fuck do you really know about him? Like, what are we talking about here, right? Then you have, and I'm going to play this video because Jeremy Johns, I think, breaks it down better than I can, because this was a huge issue for me. Sue Storm being able to do what she did, hold him off and push him back into the portal. I'm like, wait a minute. Galactus is supposed to be a Thanos level of threat. You have one person doing that? Nobody's complaining about shit. But everybody want to complain about how Kang got beat by some ants, where I definitely didn't think he did. But you all want to complain about Kang and losing the ants, but Galactus calls them bugs, and he loses to one of the bugs, and everybody's acting like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So let me put this up real quick, right? I'm not going to play the whole video, but I'm just going to play what he says because I 100% agree with him on this.
Though they all did work together, the one who's actually doing the charge, pushing Galactus through the portal, is Sue Storm. That's really powerful. How powerful is she? Actually, hold on. That's right. Overpower cards, baby. Invisible Woman. Energy 6, Fighting 3, Strength 3. Took out Galactus. These are probably not the canonical stats, but what can I say? Overpower is an underrated game. It took a couple of Avengers teams to fight Thanos, and he still beat some ass. Galactus, as I understand, is far more powerful than Thanos, and Sue Storm's like, yeah, just go that way. I don't buy it. These are the things you unpack in the days following the upload of your review. Granted, Sue Storm does die.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Galactus is a Thanos type threat. And you have Sue Storm, they made him look weak. Okay, so if Sue Storm can do that to him, then Hulk can beat him. Scarlet Witch can beat him, right? This is what I'm saying. This is the shit that I'm talking about, right? You all want to complain, oh, that's been so great. But when fucking Kang got stomped by some ants, oh my God, I can't believe Kang got stomped by some ants. They made him so weak and blah, 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 blah. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Mike saying she didn't beat Galactus. She literally pushed him. She shouldn't be strong enough to do that. Do we understand that Thanos is Galactus is a cosmic level power. His power is cosmic level. There is no way that she should have been able to do that. Now, Shifty said, and I know it's like, oh, well, it's the mother. Her child was a bit. Well, don't give me that crap. Don't give me that crap that she was like, oh my God, it's my daughter. I'm going to push my power to them. I don't care how much power she has. There is no way Galactus couldn't move. Right? Now, Galactus is stopping himself from going into a portal by holding on to a building. That is not how that shit works. The minute he grabbed that building would have crumbled. There is no way that building would have been able to hold him or stop him from being pushed in the portal. The portal. I said in the portal, right? There is no way. It's just not like thing had to hit the pillars so that the building would fall. I'm like, what are we talking about here, bro? That building would have fell right away. Not to mention, as I said earlier, Galactus can enlarge and shrink. They say that, right? The director said that, and I think I watched some videos where they mentioned that he can do that. When he gets Franklin, why doesn't he fucking get big? He gets big, they can't do shit to him. Why? Because that's his goal. He gets Franklin, he's like walking away. Like, bro, come on. Are you serious with this? If this is what you're telling, like, this is the movie you guys think is better than Superman? Superman had its issues. I'm not going to deny that, right? First act pacing is bad, but at least it was more entertaining than this. I was just flabbergasted when I left this movie. I was like, oh my God. And then people are, oh my God, the end credit scene is so good. Why? Because they showed Doom. Like, we didn't know that was going to be the end credit scene. That's what made that shit good. What are we talking about here, bro? Like, they're leading into Doomsday and Secret Wars. So if you didn't think that Doom was going to be in the end credit scene, and they didn't even show his face. They just showed him. Showed his mask stuff, and he's talking to Franklin. And he has his mask off. Oh, wow. Greatest end credit scene ever. Like, I was just sitting there leaving this movie, and I'm like, I can't wait to hear what people are saying about this. And sure enough, I have so many people talking about how it was great. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, you're right, Nzo. He should have been a cloud. They could have blown him away. No. What should have happened is he should have won. Maybe not get the child, because I understand what him getting the child means. But at the end of Thunderbolts, we see that shit going to Earth, right? A lot of us assumed that it was because the planet was destroyed by. That is exactly what should have happened. They should not, just like they should not have defeated Kang in Ant-Man, they should not have defeated Galactus. Galactus is the type of character that you're going to bring back, and if you bring him back, you just made him weak. He is weak, because if Sue Storm could do that to him, then the strongest Avengers will be able to just fucking wipe him out. Like, that's how I see it. I'm gonna get to some of these comments real quick, say some more things, and then I'm gonna bring in some people that want to come in. All right. So let's go right up to the top, where I left off. Said, Brother Nzo, you and me can defeat Galactus. 100%. I agree. Brother Nzo, remember when I said I thought it was going to be trash? It was okay, but nothing special at all. Mike always ready to fight me? Yeah, I know. Huge, huh? Yes, huge. 100%. Brother Nzo, I call him Galactus. He was clapped so easily, it made me laugh and almost walk away. Bro, I'm telling you, I was sitting there like, no, this is Galactus we're talking about. This is Galactus. This shouldn't be that easy. Say what you want about Fantastic Four will make more money than Superman, Captain America, Thunderbolt, plus have better reviews. Doesn't matter, right? Transformers make more money than all of these movies put together, and they're all trash. So making money doesn't equate to a good movie. It doesn't. And I promise you, it's going to slow down. The only reason why it'll probably make money is because there's nothing else coming for a while, but you still got Superman in there. Superman still has some legs. It may make more than Superman, but it may not. You know what I mean? Brother, on the facts, they should have known he could. They shouldn't have known he could shrink. 100%. Team Up's not really Fantastic Four struggled a lot to fight it. Did they really though? They didn't really fight him. They tried to do some okie doke bullshit on a fucking celestial that is, well, I like to say he's a celestial, but I know he's not, but he's cosmic power. They tried to do some okie doke on him like that was going to work. Like, oh yeah, we're going to put the baby in here. We're going to get him to come and then we're going to switch the baby. Like, he's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, the plan didn't even make no sense. I preferred the moving the planet plan than the second one. But even moving the planet plan was stupid because where are you going to move it to? You're going to move it to a solar system, and what? Is it going to be too close to another planet, too far from? Like, that's just like, this doesn't make no sense. But I did think at least moving the planet was kind of a better plan than what they did. We'll see about it making more than Superman. And Brother on the Sue Storm was able to clap Galactus on her home and make him moan. Facts, 100%. Nzo, we clearly see Sulan struggle a lot, and it even killed her before. That's another thing, too. All right? So what? She struggled. Big deal. She may have struggled, but Galactus could not move. You understand? Like, the first time she grabs him with her powers, he grabs her arm, he brushes it off like it's nothing. Then she taps into this whole power, and it's like, and now she's able to turn him around and push him into the portal. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Get out of here with that. I'm not buying that. You know what I mean? Maybe if she was able to hold him there and thing was hitting him, like ramming him, you know, Dr. Reed Richards was stretching and pulling him, and Firestorm was burning him at the same time, all of them working together to do it. Okay. I could probably get past that. But her alone? Nah, bro. This is Galactus we're talking about. This is Galactus we're talking about. This isn't Kang. This isn't these little street level MCU villains. This is a cosmic freaking villain, bro. You know? Because she was trying to save her son, of course. Stop it. I don't want to hear this. Oh, because she was trying to save her strength, she's going to have more strength. She may have, but not enough to hold Galactus. And then I'm hearing, oh, well, maybe she gave birth and, you know, Franklin's power was still in. That's not how that works. Babies don't transfer to the mother. The mother transfers to the baby. But even if that were the case, she had him months ago, all right? It's not like he was just born. They were, and I'm going to get into that too, because they were in space when he was born. And then when they get back to Earth, it was a month trip. All right? It was a month trip that they said. So it was a month trip. Silver Surfer was supposed to be trapped in there for a month. It doesn't take a week to build that shit on the planet that they did. So it was months. You're telling me months later she still has the remnants powers of her being born? Of Franklin being born? Nah, not buying that. Not doing it. Sue Storm's in the comic is pretty OP in the comics too. I've read them. Not that OP. Not that OP. You see, there's a reason why Marvel has these type of villains. Thanos, Galactus, the one above all, because they're so powerful that you need to have the Avengers. You need to have team-ups. You need to have all of these people together to defeat them. When you use one person to defeat a cosmic level being, you just weakened Galactus. I think you made him look more weak than Kang. And I'm sorry, but all y'all that's gonna sit in here and talk, because a lot of you, I know I was the only one that, well, few that say that Kang did not get beat by ants, because he didn't. He didn't get beat by ants. They may have postponed what was happening. They may have, fucked him around a bit, but they didn't beat him, right? Now, also, she was carrying the most powerful human in the Marvel universe. Maybe, you see, that's the cap. I don't want to hear that cap. And I'm going to say this too, and because we had the discussion on X, not everything has to be mapped out. But if that's the case, and you don't tell us, then that's bad writing. If you got to come up with your own ideas as to why she was strong enough to hold Galactus like that, that is bad writing. That is 100% bad writing, because she is not supposed to be that strong. It seems to me like she's on this Scarlet Witch type of level, because Scarlet Witch almost fucked Thanos up with the. No, I don't think he had the Infinity Stones at the time, but she almost fucked him up by himself. So, like, Brother Nzo, Marvel Comics, it took half the Marvel Universe to defeat Galactus. Thanos needed an Infinity Gauntlet. Exactly. 100%. Got that already. She didn't beat Galactus. She pushed him. Yeah, she pushed him. She held him. He couldn't move. He was screaming like a bitch. Like, get out of here. So Thanos beating the Hulk like a child was normal to you? Absolutely not. I say that all the time. No, it's not normal. It's not normal. They depowered the Hulk too. And you watch me long enough, and to know how I feel about how they did the Hulk in the MCU. You know that. So to bring that up to be it's irrelevant. I can't stand what they did with Hulk. Not to mention that the fact that Hulk didn't even get a rematch. Bro, nah, come on. Oh my God, you're talking like Pickle now with Kate Bishop and Kingpin. But it's true though, Mike. It's true. It's true. It's true. The Kate Bishop and Kingpin shit was ass too. So, yeah, Galactus literally was about to come back from the portal, and Shella Bell. So what? She was still able to push him in there, right? Of course he's not going to stay in there, because you can see Johnny's looking at his watch, and it's 10 seconds before it's able to close. So what? He came back. Big deal. Big deal. That don't mean nothing. Brother Nzo, they overpowered Sue Storm. She would never be able to do that to Galactus. Even Stan Lee, it required half of the Marvel characters, just 100%. She was fighting for her life of her son. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't care, Mike. She could have been fighting for... I'll keep it PG, so I won't say what I'm going to say. But she could have been fighting for whatever. She's still not strong enough to do that. I'm sorry. She's just not. In the comics, she's powerful enough to do that. No, she is not. No, she is not. No, she is not. Maybe modern day comics, because I don't know. But in regular comics, the ones that I read growing up, the fuck she is. No, she's not. I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that she's not powerful enough to beat Galactus. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. You're right, the stranger. She pushes her powers to death, and her son brought her back to life. Okay. The son bringing her back to life. He's a baby. You're going to tell me that this baby knew that she was dead? Right? Okay, I get it. You want to say he's a mutant or whatever. That's fine, whatever. But I was just like, the fake out deaths drive me up a wall. They do it almost all the time. I am sick of the fake out fucking deaths. Do something and kill somebody. Kill somebody. I didn't expect her to kill Storm. Sue Storm. I didn't expect her to do that, right? But fuck, man. Stop with the fake out deaths. It's enough already. They do it all the time. Anytime someone exerts their power, they pass out. Oh my God, you're dead. And then some bullshit brings them back to life. It's just like, come on, bro. Do something different. If Sue Storm could do that, then Scarlet Witch probably would kill his ass, considering how strong and powerful she is. Yeah, exactly. Because she's supposed to be stronger than Sue Storm. So you're telling me Scarlet Witch can take out Galactus by himself? Brother Nzo, Galactus was holding on to a building. You know what I'm saying? Really? That's what we're doing? Sue literally can lift whole buildings with her. Whole buildings are not cosmic beings, geeky. Whole beings are not cosmic beings. This is a cosmic being, mutant level type of shit, right? That's what Galactus is. There is no, and Terrence will tell me if I'm right because I haven't read comics in a long time, but there's not one fucking Galactus comic that I remember where one fucking character beats him. That's other than Franklin. You know what I mean? Gonzo made me laugh. 100%. From what I understand, she's more powerful in the comics and the movies in the past and nerfed her. They nerfed her 100%. Gonzo made theater vocally say what? They were shocked. 100%. Galactus was far more threatening villain than Lex. No, he was not. No, he was not. No, he was not. He was great. Don't get me wrong. I loved Galactus. That's what I went to go see the movie for. I went to go see this movie for Galactus. That's it. I was dying to see Galactus. And I mean, the voice was on point. The look was on point. I liked Galactus. I just didn't like what they did with him. I loved the part where he grabbed Reed Richards and started stretching his ass. I was like, yeah, I like that. That shit was good, you know. But Reed Richards is jumping around and stretching, and then he puts this thing in like Galactus armor and he pulls it down, and some fire comes out of the back, and Galactus came like, what the fuck is that? What did he do? Why did that hurt Galactus? Like, I don't get it. Like, did I miss something? I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to rant for a little bit more, but I am going to put the link in the chat right now. And then when I finish my rant, I will let you guys come in. Because there's still some other stuff that I got to complain about. So boom. There's the link right there. I'm going to do these chats. Brother Anzo, since saying what they did to Galactus. Yeah, you're right. She should have been a cloud. Should have blown him away. Lex at the end of Superman turned into a joke when Crypto dragged him around like a chew toy. Okay, so yes, they did do that, 100%. And I do think that James Gunn did make a huge problem with that. I see you, Geeky. I'll bring you in later. Don't worry. I think James Gunn did that was a huge issue for me because you took away the speech that him and Lex, Superman and Lex could have had, right? The back and forth could have been fire, but then you killed it with a joke. So yeah, I definitely did not like that. I see you there too, Terrence. I'm gonna bring you in as soon as I'm done. All right, you guys just hold tight. JG is in the house too. JG, keep tight. I'm gonna go through the rest of this stuff and then I'll bring you guys in. Brother, I'm glad he wasn't the clown, but they really yeah, I get you 100%. They said, hey, Mike, even though I like the movie, you are so right on. Thank you. I appreciate that. I agree there's a lot of fakeness going around this. And people are clapping like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, nah, bro. The movie was mid at best. So Geeky guy's in the house. Terrence is in the house. JG Shaolin is in the house. Geeky guy, you have some background noise, which you're going to fix up. I'm going to mute you until you're done. What is up? What is going on? What up, Chillmonger? Yes, garbage. Yes, 100% garbage. I said it. The movie is garbage. JG, what are your thoughts? We don't need to do no intros. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I ain't worried about it. First of all, these movie theaters got to do something with all these freaking ads at the beginning of the movie. Because these ads and trailers, I was falling asleep before the movie started, right? So, yeah, as far as the overall for the movie, man, I guess because I was telling Superwise, I was so hyped for it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw it, I was kind of let down a little bit, right? It was like, it felt like they took a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I thought it was too much. Mr. Terrific, Sue Storm was too much of those two. But Pedro Pascal is a really good actor. I don't think that gave him enough to do.
Facts.
Yeah, he did the whole, I guess you call it a nerd logic and all that. That was cool, but he's too good of an actor for what they gave him.
Echo back?
No, it's gone. It's gone. You're good.
That was good. It's good. Yeah, Johnny Storm, the casting was cool. The casting was cool.
It's back.
The casting was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the casting was cool. I just felt like they left so much out. So much more could have been done. Galactus was underused for someone as powerful as he is. It almost turned to a Johnny Storm Silver Surfer love fest for a second. I was worried about that. I'm like, please don't do this. Please don't.
That shit drove me up a wall. I'm like, really? Are you trying to tell me that you want this fucking this thing that's coming? Like, you talking about sexy? I'm like, oh, come on, bro.
Come on, Mike. Fight me, Mike. I'm ready for it tonight, buddy.
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah. So let's get
Nzo, you are picking the nittiest picks in the history of nitpicking, bro.
Thank you.
I don't even know what to tell you. Like, stop.
It's not nitpicking. The movie was boring.
If Sue Storm, if she uppercutted him and then knocked him on his ass and then stood over him and pissed on him, then I would understand what you're saying about her beating him. She did not beat him. You're doing the same thing. Dude, I heard this with Ant-Man. The ants did not beat Kang. They just overwhelmed him and pushed him into that little portal thing or whatever. The same thing happened. Okay.
No, Mike, hold on. Don't get you guys. Let me. I'll let you guys come in. Let me address Mike. Yes, Mike. 100%. I don't think that the ants beat Kang, right? But they beat Galactus the exact same way they beat Kang. Everybody is saying that this Galactus shit is great, but when they talked about the Kang shit, they hated it.
So you're hating this because people are hating that? That makes no sense.
No. I think it's stupid. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of the people hating the way it was done for that, and then the way it's done is.
Nzo, fuck them people, dude. That's all. Just stop. Like, just like what you like. Don't like what you like. Don't have residual. But you're having residual like feelings because of whatever happened with Ant-Man.
It's not residual feelings.
Kang didn't get beat. Galactus didn't get beat.
Yes, he did.
And Mike,
he didn't.
Yes, he did. Galactus could not do a damn thing when she was holding him. He couldn't even move.
Who did the last punch to Kang? Who was it? Was it Sue? It wasn't Stu because she wasn't beating him. It was Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
She flew into him.
So
she flew in and
she was the one who was able to hold him and push him into a portal, and he couldn't do shit. We are talking about,
and it killed her.
Hold on.
She was using the
I don't care if it killed her. That fake out shit. I don't like that anyway. That's like fucking. That's like you. That's like Luke losing his power and then dying at the end of that movie.
But it wasn't a fake out because they were throughout the entire movie. Reed was concerned about what the powers would have done to Franklin. This is the way that they're building up Franklin. Now that's going to be another problem, and we'll get into that like in the future or whatever. But they had to show that Franklin is going to be something.
Did she come back to life at the end of the movie?
Because of Franklin, yes.
Then the death was a fake out.
It wasn't a fake out. It wasn't a fake out because you had a character. You had a character that is going to become severely OP in the future.
It does not matter how the person comes. Hold on. It does not matter how the person comes back to life. They fake you out with her death. There is not one person in the fucking theater that thought she was going to die. So why bother even do that? You could say, sure, she was
to show how unpowerful she was when she was fighting Galactus, dude. What do you? How can you not see this? It's
exactly, Mike.
This isn't like, dude.
No,
stop.
No,
this isn't like Rocky. Okay, stop. Little tiny Stallone fighting Hulk Hogan. R.I.P. Brother.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
That's it right there. It killed her.
So what? They brought her back to life. Big deal. If that's the case, hold on. If that's the case, do something different and actually let her fucking die. And then maybe Franklin goes up, brings her back in another movie. But do something. Don't give us this fucking fake out death. And then like, hey guys, oh my God, she's dead. Everybody cry. Oh my God, she's dead. And then boom, she's back to life.
So let me see if I understand this correctly. There's three issues that you have. One, this is a thing from Ant-Man where the ants overpowered Kang and everybody kept capping saying, oh no, the ants beat him and he was weak or whatever. Two, they killed Sue, but they didn't really kill her because her son brought her back, her son who is OP. And three, you still insist that Sue beat him, even though her beating him just consisted of her holding him there, trying to push him into the portal until Silver Surfer. She didn't. She wasn't able to do it. He came back out.
She pushed him into it, though. So let's not act like she
Because
tried
she's
to push him
powerful
into
enough
it.
to do that.
She
Did the portal?
pushed
Did the
him
portal
into it.
close? Did the portal
Because
close?
it still had 10 fucking seconds left. That's why
She
fucking
didn't beat
Thor
him.
looked at his watch. The only
She didn't
reason
beat
why
him. In fact,
hold on.
the
only reason why the portal didn't close is because there was still time on the fucking timer. If there was at 2 seconds and the portal closed, then what? She beats him? What's the difference?
ultimately, what was going to happen is that Galactus was going to come back and Sue was going to be dead. She was going to be dead. So exactly how did she beat him?
Because
How
she
did
was
she beat him?
she was able to push him in the portal. The only reason why Galactus was able to come back from the portal is because it still had 10 seconds before it was going to close. So she was strong enough to push him in. If she had done that at 2 seconds and the portal closed, then movie's over. You don't need Silver Surfer come in and do that, right? The only reason why they had him come back out is to show the redemption of the Silver Surfer to come in and finish off the job. That's the only reason.
The point.
Other than that,
Johnny was trying to get her on their side.
But that's what I'm
In
saying.
fact,
That's
Johnny
the
was
only,
even trying to say, take me instead of the kid.
But that's the only reason why Galactus was coming back from the portal. She should have not have been even strong enough to push him into the portal. We are talking about a cosmic level being, guys. All right?
He's not on the Celestials level.
He doesn't have to be. He's cosmic level, and he's older than the universe. They say that in the movie. Reed Richards says, I don't know what to do. This guy predates our universe. So he is more powerful than Thanos, than anybody. Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlets, he's more powerful than. And you're telling me he's able to
Thanos
do this?
is stronger than him. Thanos is actually stronger than him.
With the Infinity Gauntlets, maybe, but not without them. Absolutely not.
That's even worse because freaking Captain America held his hand when he had all the stones.
Exactly.
That makes it worse.
And Nzo, in the comics, Susan Storm literally restrained and took down the Hulk with her powers. If she can take down the Hulk,
the Hulk is not fucking. The Hulk is not Galactus, guys. What are we doing? The Hulk is not on the same power level as a Galactus.
You didn't get to it,
levels to the power. You have levels to the power in the MCU. Hulk is not on the same level as Galactus.
But see, okay, again, like we're doing the thing where, and I always tell people this when they come into my store, you'll enjoy the movies a lot more if you realize the movies are one thing.
Mike, I know.
Another. Hold on, and number two, hold on. You didn't get to this in the chat, but who do you think is more powerful, Sue Storm or Kitty Pryde?
I would guess Sue Storm.
Okay,
I don't really know much about Kitty Pryde, so
because Kitty Pryde in an issue in the Ultimates, she literally punched Galactus into the negative zone all by herself. So if we're talking about OP and things that shouldn't happen, I would say Sue Storm's a little bit more powerful than Kitty Pryde, because all Kitty Pryde can do really is just like phase.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know much about Kitty Pryde.
Wolverine color. That's about it. There you go. I gave you all of her power set to be able to phase, and she knows ninja shit because she went to Japan with Wolverine, and that's it. That's it. But she beat him. So
and again, okay. So did she beat? Are we talking about newer comics or older comics? Because if we're talking about newer comics, then I am completely like power levels of the mutants in the newer comics and all that stuff. I have no idea, right? But I also know.
Came out like 2012, 2013, Cataclysm.
Yeah. So, Mike, I stopped reading comics like when I was like.
But regardless, she didn't beat him. You're being. Let's be. If her stated goal was to get Galactus into that portal to protect Earth, but first of all, her son, she failed. Because he didn't, regardless of whatever time was on the portal and all the other shit. She failed, and she did it with the cost of her life. Regardless of who brought her back, regardless of what happened with the time, she did not beat Galactus.
Oh my God, guys, what are we doing here?
Well,
exactly.
I say,
how you doing, brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Terrence, because you ain't going. Then I'll let Geeky Guy go, and then JG, you could keep your thoughts.
No, I just, Mike, I know that he knows the comics and stuff just like I do. So I respect, when Mike has a viewpoint, but I was just kind of patiently waiting because I didn't want to do the whole, yelling match and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, my thoughts is that I thought the movie was okay because you remember how I told you when I saw the trailers, I
Exactly,
thought they were, pretty trash, and I didn't like how the characters were presented, and I said that I was gonna watch it, but I wasn't gonna pay for it, so I
And
didn't
what
pay
did
for
I?
it.
Hold on. What did I tell you, Terrence? I told you guys, and I told everybody. You can go back and clip it. I thought this movie was going to be great. I thought it was going to be absolutely fire. And we
remember.
talked about it. I told you that, and then it was trash. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I ended up getting invited to a screening on Wednesday, and I was able to bring 2 guests. So, took some of my friends to go and see it. And I was like, well, okay, I don't think it's trash like I thought it was gonna be. Like, to me, it just ended up being mid, but like I do appreciate how they pulled from like 60 years of lore from the Fantastic Four comics. And if anything, the stuff that they showed at the beginning of the movie, I would have preferred to see over, just kind of going past like a montage, like this is what the characters have already done. The humans know and love them. And then you get a bunch of talking, and then you get to see this amazing looking Galactus. And he's sitting there trying to tell us like he has millions of years of experience and stuff. And I was like, I can't wait to see him eat this planet like I predicted. And then they would have to fly away and leave all those humans to die because they can't stop him. And then they come over into the main MCU continuity, like how we see that mid-credit scene at the end of Thunderbolts. And then, they would have to like warn everyone like, hey, there's something coming.
Exactly.
We don't know. We weren't able to stop it. It destroyed our, I thought that's what we were going to get. And then they would follow that up with a mid-credit scene, right? So they didn't do that, and then we got to see him shrink, which I know he's able to do, but they shouldn't have known that. I'm like, okay, so they just knew,
it's like, we're
we're
gonna bring him here. Oh, wait, how the fuck do you know he's able to shrink to come down and
number one, I agree with Terrence. I agree totally with Terrence because I was sitting there thinking about, and the same thing happened with Super. And mind you, I didn't mind it. But I do agree that, like, with, the whole bypassing the origin. Oh, we don't want to do the origins again because we know the origin, whatever. Like, I don't mind if they would have done the origin, if it took like a half hour or something out of the 2 hours or something like that. So I do agree with Terrence about that. The other thing is, I thought the same thing regarding them failing and Galactus destroying their world and them having to come to the 616. However, Terrence, this is the very first time we see these people. Do you really want them to begin our cinematic journey with them with that huge of an L? Because then that would show no. Because then, Nzo, wait. Look what was happening with Superman. Look how many people were getting on Super. Oh, he got his ass handed to him and everything. Do you know why that comes? That comes because every time somebody comes into my store and says, who do you think is better, Batman or Superman? Oh, I don't like Superman because he's too OP. How many times have you heard, I don't like Superman because he's too OP? So James Gunn's like, okay, you don't want him OP? Well, fine. He's going to get his ass handed to him by the butcher of whatever. Like, that's stupid. That's stupid.
But we're not talking about a regular villain. We're talking about Galactus, right? We're talking about an event. This is what I think should have happened. Now, maybe I'm mad because it didn't happen. But again, Galactus should have destroyed that planet, like Terrence said. And the Fantastic Four would have had to leave and go to, and then you could see that Galactus is now searching for Richards. So he's searching galaxy after galaxy to find Franklin because he needs to get that hunger done. That's how it should have ended. Yes, 100% they should have ended with an L.
So real quick, brother Nzo. So Mike, when you asked me that question about the L, right? It's just that, from a dramatic purpose, I wanted to see them, the whole team fighting Galactus, almost dying, and then the rest of the world, like kind of watching, monitoring what was happening and seeing that they're failing. They start to panic. And then you see Reed, him being the genius that he is, like, I can't figure out any way to stop him, but I can't let my family die. So we have to leave to protect our son. And then because he is sad and because they are heroes, when they get over to the main MCU, I wanted him to figure out something to help everyone over there because he failed everyone in his universe,
Facts.
essentially. Like Reed,
100%.
The entire
Like-
world, like maybe one or two people, even that. No, I don't think somebody who you just see for the first time should have an L like that. The second movie,
Well, no,
yes,
I
and
get-
then you
I
do
get-
the
I
Empire
get
Strikes
you-
Back thing, you know, and
I
then
get what you're saying, Mike, but it's just that, you know, in the comics, like Reed, he tends to figure out a way. Like even when he takes an L, it's like the next time he knows what to do. It's kind of like when you had the storyline Wolverine versus the Marvel Universe. Like Reed Richards was hell bent on figuring out how to reverse what happened to everyone because they were turning into cannibals. And he's like, I'm not going to rest and stop until I succeed, even though I feel like I failed all my family and friends. Until I die or become a cannibal myself, I will not stop. So I wanted that kind of stuff to carry over because to me, even though you present that as a type of L, the difference is when you look at the recent MCU films that we've gotten, there's been a lot of beating the villains easily and, you know, a lot of jokes and the stakes not really being that high. To have, you know, new characters be introduced and you present them in a way like, okay, they failed, but if you can somehow save
Aaron,
everyone else in
Hold on,
another
hold on.
universe, it kind of makes up for that. I'm like, if anyone can do
Aaron.
that, it's Reed Richards. And then on top of that, and then on top of that, because I know how powerful Franklin Richards is, then he'll help contribute when you get to Secret Wars. Because then, of course, you're going to have Doctor Doom and all these other villains. It's like, how can they contribute and prove to all those other characters how powerful they are? It's like, well, you got the mind of Reed, you got his team, and then you have his son who can alter reality. It's like you can really present them in a way of like, okay, not only is this going to be an epic redemption, but it's going to be because of them that all the other characters don't get clapped in the Secret Wars storyline. So that's kind of what I was thinking about as I was
definitely
watching.
agree with that, Terrence. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
so then-
if it was a second movie, yes, I would. But
So-
I don't
so
think
hold
you
on.
can have all the characters lose like that. in the
Okay,
first
so
movie.
here's the thing, Mike. Here's the thing, though, right? Because if this movie wasn't,
Or even though this
just
is our first movie, this isn't their first time. I mean, it's just the
I
first
know.
time we've
Yeah,
seen it. You know?
right. But I'm saying, but this movie, if it wasn't constant talking, what they could have done is show them having nothing but wins against the villains on their planet, right? They could have shown them, even in them, because they showed that little montage, but you could have had them at least fight two major little level villains, whatever, where they beat them up, and then you show that they've beaten every villain in their planet, and then something else comes where they can't beat it, right? And then, like Terrence said, you get to another movie, and now you have the, I need to make sure that this doesn't happen to other planets. I need to make sure that we stop Galactus this time. I think they could have done that. You could have done it in a way to where it still doesn't make them weak. It just makes it look like they went up against a stronger villain, right?
And then,
Right. One more thing.
Wait. I still have one last point. One last point, because just for clarification. So, to provide clarification for the humans who are listening, in terms of Galactus, right? So that end battle, like I was excited to see only because like I've been reading about Galactus since I was a kid. It's like when he shows up, there's a context, right? Like whenever you have context in comic books, which is very important, like how you can have Squirrel Girl defeat Doctor Doom. That's very satirical, but if you
also
put
defeated Galactus too.
Right. So, because she was able to talk him down and convince him not to eat the food. But it's just that without that kind of context, we know what would happen if you just put them in a regular Marvel storyline. So in the case of Galactus, 99% of the time, you're used to seeing all these Marvel characters stand a chance to beat him. So I'm like, okay, we don't have them in this universe. So that means that they're going to have to struggle and they're going to lose. They may not die, but they're going to lose. So what does that defeat look like if they can't handle Galactus? So in my mind, I was jumping ahead of the plot to see what would happen. I'm like, yeah, they're going to fail. They're not going to be able to hurt him or do anything to hold him back or put him anywhere, regardless of what Reed is saying, because even though Reed is a super genius and he's the smartest mind in the Marvel universe, sometimes his calculations are incorrect, especially when he deals with the villain that he hasn't dealt with before. But it's all about what he does the next time, because that's how fast he is with his intellect. So I was thinking, when you have Sue Storm do what she did to Galactus, it's like the next time I see him, to me, I won't feel any intensity because I've already seen him withheld and pushed back. That the team was able to, triumph over him. So I'm like, I don't really want to see him again. In comparison to like when I saw like Thanos, every time he showed up, I'm gonna do it myself. And I was like, oh man, once he shows up, even if he doesn't get all the stones, I said to myself, he's gonna beat the holy shit out of these characters. It's gonna be crazy.
And here's one thing that I had to say, that, and I think Superman did it too, and I didn't like it. Now this I will definitely say is a nitpick, but they get back to Earth, right? They tell them that they're not going to sacrifice their baby. Superman, they play the message and his parents, and you're telling me that every single person wanted them to give up the baby? There wasn't some rational person said, like, I wouldn't give up my child either. You know what I mean? Like, everybody on the planet was expecting them to give up their baby.
Someone in my theater
don't actually know that.
Huh?
Someone in my theater laughed when you hear the humans like the humans are like basically they were like, yo, fuck that baby, give him up. Like half of my theater laughed, and it's like we didn't mean to, but it was like how quickly, like, because I thought maybe they would think about it, and then usually most humans are cowards, so I figured they come to the conclusion that they would do it, but it was because it happened so fast that it made me laugh, and I wasn't intending on laughing. So
that was just one time, but we had a news report, right, where they were doing that little interview, and they're talking about giving up the baby. Like, you can't just say you got to show. Hold on. Let me finish. You got to show that there are at least a few people that are like, you know what? No, I wouldn't give up my baby too, right? Just like in Superman, and I never spoke about that. But I'm like, there's no way that people who got saved by Superman wouldn't come out and defend him, right? And you're right. We don't know if there are people that would have actually agreed with them not giving up the baby. But because they don't show it, they make it seem like everybody on the fucking planet wants them to give up their baby. And you got to at least show one or two people that disagree. Then it's like, okay, well, now that makes more sense, because not everybody is going to fucking agree with them giving up the baby. Yes. Bro,
Nzo, here's the thing. My public relations professor said it best. During times of crisis, people don't think logically. They think emotionally.
But some people do, not everybody. You can't sit there and say that he says everybody thinks like that. No, there are people out there that will think logically. There are people out there who will put themselves in her shoes and be like, yeah, I wouldn't give up my child either. You know what I mean? There are people that would do that.
Nzo, real quick.
Do that.
Well, Nzo, real quick to your amazing.
And I want to go to JG because JG didn't talk.
Right. So to that amazing point you made, the lady that was sitting next to me, right? She had her son with her. So during that scene, she like nudged me. Like I didn't know her. She just nudged me and she said, you know what? I wouldn't give up my child either. She just said that to me randomly. So I'm like, that makes sense that you would have mothers or fathers that would also, their emotional reaction would be, don't do that to that child. Don't give up your baby. I wouldn't do it. So not everyone is going to do that, even with emotions.
I agree. Yeah. JG, hold on. JG was holding on to say something for a long time. I got to get to him.
I fucking forgot, bro.
All right. Go ahead, JG.
Like you and Bird. If I don't say it, then it's gone.
Go ahead, I wanted to address what Terrence said before that. That was all. You don't mind if I go first, JG, or do you want to?
Man, you're good.
Okay. So Terrence, here's the thing. You said earlier that you would have loved to see Galactus actually win in this film and have like an ending that like rivaled Infinity War, where he actually destroys the planet, and then the Fantastic Four like travel to another universe along with their son Franklin. There's one problem with that, though, Terrence. Galactus is not going to be the main threat moving forward. Doctor Doom is. So he's going to basically overshadow Doctor Doom as the main villain in Doomsday by doing that. And besides, the mid-credit scene of this film heavily implied that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is from the same universe as this Fantastic Four. And
Okay, so
honestly, I would
what you just said is what you just said is
hold on, T. You're right, because no, it doesn't. It does not confirm that. It actually confirms that he's from a different universe, not from this universe, because they talk about all the villains that the Fantastic Four have fought, and not once do they mention Doom.
But Anzo, they kept showing Latveria all the time.
They showed it,
and
and nobody was there. So that either means that Doom hasn't actually been established yet, or that he's not in this universe and it's just Latveria.
No. What I'm saying is what I'm saying is what this human is saying about me wanting to rival it is incorrect, because Thanos didn't destroy the planet. He wiped out half of the universe. The planet was intact. And for humans that actually read comic books, they know that you can still have villains have their feats, and then you can have an overarching villain. I don't care if that's Doctor Doom or the Beyonder, you're going to have them do more. It happens all the time in the comic books. So just because Thanos eats that planet does not mean that you have to take away what another villain can do, any more than just because Zod shows up and destroys stuff doesn't mean you can't have the Joker pop off or have Lex Luthor pop off. The villains are going to be the villains.
And you know what? To be honest with you, we all know that Doomsday and Secret War is going to be around Doom. You don't need to have Galactus in there. You can bring in future MCU movies, right? Because they're going to, and they call it a reset, right? They're going to do a reset after Secret Wars. Well, they could have did the reset, and they could have actually showed that Galactus, being a cosmic entity, has his memories before the reset, right? He still knows about Franklin. He still knows about what happened. So he doesn't have to be the villain in these next two movies. You can hold him off for like the next Avenger movie. But if you're going to do that, you don't have him get beat in this movie. And I don't care what you want to say, they beat him.
And then Anzo too, like I told one of the older humans in the theater, because he doesn't read comics, but he also thought it was weird, like what happened to Galactus, right? So I told him that in relation to the son of Reed and Sue, I'm like, if anything, when Galactus is on his way to another universe, another galaxy, you can show Reed panicking and stuff. And then by that time, his son is older. And then you can show his powers even more. Like Franklin can hold him back. Like, nah, you're not coming over here. We already got Dr. Doom and all these villains. We don't need you giving us a headache. How about you stay where you are? And then at that point, he can alter reality and do the reset. It's like it writes itself to the point to where you don't have to do all these unnecessary tweaks. But sometimes they feel like, okay, let me just throw everything there because the fans will like this, while also robbing characters of certain moments and also preventing certain things from being more impactful or making sense in the more immediate future, when you have two big events to where one was based off some toys, so you don't really need no storytelling anyway. But if you have a bunch of characters fighting each other, that's $3 billion right there. So that's all I'm saying, is that sometimes in life you just don't have to do certain things to your villains, and you should just let them be the all-powerful characters they are, and they get stopped, whether it be right away with the smaller ones or with the bigger ones. We all know as comic book readers, at some point they will be defeated, and that's what makes it interesting to pick up the next issue. You like, man, I hope they whoop his ass in issue 50. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Anik, my complaints aren't terrible because there are two people on the panel that agree with me. So I guess they ain't that terrible, bro. Like, just because you like it, and if you like it, hold on, that's fine. You guys are outnumbered. So be it. And that's fine. If you like the movie, you can like the movie. But you can't tell me that I can't sit here and talk about the fucking complaints of the movie because I don't like the way they did certain things. I'm like sitting there, and Marvel has a way of doing this, and they do this to almost all the characters, and that's what we're going to get into because Mike talked about Franklin, right? They depower these characters a lot in the movie. They depowered Hulk, they depowered Galactus, and then you know what's going to happen? They're going to depower Franklin too. You think Franklin is going to be as powerful as he is in the comics in this? He's not.
Mate,
He's not.
I mean,
if
Doctor Doom is coming after him and wants to like use him for his own plan, I actually have a theory of how Franklin is going to be involved in Doctor Doom's future plan, but I'll get into that later if you guys are interested.
Wait,
But
can you I didn't see the mid-credit scene because at my screening, it's like usually when I go to screenings, they cut off. So what was the mid-credit scene so I can know?
Basically, so it goes like this. Susan Storm is reading like not a bedtime story, but like a story
it's 4 years later.
To Franklin. It takes place 4 years later. Sorry, 4 years later, she's reading a story to 4-year-old Franklin, and then Franklin is like, "Mommy, tell me another story." And then when she goes to like like her shelf way over the other side of the living room,
she comes back and Doom is there. You're taking too long to tell the ending, bro. She comes around the corner and Doom is sitting there, and Doom is in front of Franklin, and his mask is off. They don't show his face. They don't show his face. He's there, and Franklin's kind of like touching.
Wait, hold up. So
I was about to get to that.
Wait. So Nzo, so you don't see his face. He's just there chilling, and then it cuts off, or what?
Yeah.
He basically gets down on one knee, and then Franklin is touching his scarred face, and he's holding his metal mask in his other hand, but we don't actually see his face, just like an over-the-shoulder shot.
Yeah, probably wasn't even Robert Downey Jr. To be honest with you.
It might have been a stun double.
And then what about the other one, like the one at the very end?
Yeah, the other one was just a cartoon that was related to something in the movie.
Oh, I didn't dude. I was so ready to leave. As soon as that mid-credit, I was gone. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Because I'll tell you this. When the last end credit scene, right, everybody in the theater went, "What the fuck?" Every single buddy went, "What the fuck?" Like, they gotta stop doing this, right? Okay, if you're gonna give us end credit scene, make it worth staying for. You know what I mean? Like, make it worth staying for. Don't make it where we're sitting there and we're watching them fucking eat shawarma, or they're doing a stupid cartoon. Like, we gotta stop doing that. Like, the end credit scenes need to make sense, and some of them just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been awfully quiet. So why don't you go ahead?
Well, you guys keep cutting me off when I try and I keep losing my thought. No, I'll miss you guys. So I'm gonna go all the way back to the Sue Storm thing, right? Now I start remembering what I was gonna say. I don't believe she beat Galactus, but she was way too effective in beating him, right? Because usually when she uses that amount of power, she get migraines, she just fall out or whatever, right? She can't sustain that much power. Now, I get the whole argument of, oh, that's her kid, and any of us with kids know something happened to our kid, we get superhuman abilities out of nowhere. I get it. But come on, man. Come on. And I was hoping that, I called him Mr. Terrific earlier, Mr. Fantastic, would do like the Gulliver's Travel thing that Spider-Man did, right? Like he was coming, hey, wrap his legs up, trip him up, do something. It's like, you're this smart, but I don't see it, right? And he's like Gonzo said, how do you know he could shrink to size? When you sit there and say that this guy he's beyond, he's been around so long, it's going to take what, hundreds of years to figure him out almost? But you come up with a plan in 5 seconds to figure him out? Come on, bro.
So
Reed Richards is the smartest man alive.
So Reed Richards, when he was in the lab, I was like, yep, I love that. When he was like, yeah, anybody can make a crib. I had to make this machine. Like, I like that he was making stuff. But then I was like, so when he get out there on that field, you know, doing this stretchy stuff, I'm like, just backhand him or stretch him like Laffy Taffy or something. And then it's a wrap. So I feel like if I would have seen him wrap around Galactus, it should have just been Galactus looking down like really, and just pick him up and stretch him and shoot him like a couple miles away.
I'm glad they didn't do that, but I'll say this: if it was more of a team effort, right, to push Galactus into the portal, I would have been more acceptable of that. But just to be like this one mother doing it, and I know you empower the mother, like JG said, I get it, right? You see videos of people doing things that unbelievable, right? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that because panic, whatever, adrenaline kicks in, all of that.
Anzo,
I just don't believe that.
But I'll tell you who really, one second, Geeky. I'll tell you who really defeated him. Johnny Storm. Said Johnny Storm out of then that Playboy stuff with Silver Surfer, Galactus never would have been defeated.
Johnny Storm, his moment got robbed to me. Like he was like, "Yep, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finally mean something in this movie." And then she's like, "Get out the way. Let me do this."
Man, like, they robbed him and Ben Grimm through this whole entire movie to me, dude.
He was my favorite character, and I was like, I wanted him to jump up and punch Galactus in the face. Not that do anything, but I wanted him to, have some anger and some testosterone and balls, like with a deep voice. Finally, it's clobbering time for the first time in the movie, but have it mean something. But they didn't give my boy that, and he was my favorite character in the comics.
You know what's funny? After watching the movie, I didn't because when I see the trailer, I'm like, I don't like his voice. But when I watched the movie, I really didn't have a problem with the voice. You know what I mean?
Cool.
I'll say that.
You know what I mean? Like they didn't give him any of his strong emotional weight that he has in the comics. Like, yo, I'm ugly. When you gonna change me back? Like I feel like a monster. And then him always wanting to fight because he was so bitter and angry that he couldn't have what everybody else had until he met his, love interest, Alicia Masters, after Debbie. But it's like you didn't have that. So to me, he was just the nice, let me wear a nice sweater with a baseball cap. Hey, how you doing? You want a bologna sandwich? That's what he was doing in the movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mike, what are your thoughts? Mike probably stepped away.
Speaking of Susan Storm, I have something else I want to bring up. Anzo, remember when I mentioned earlier that I actually have a theory on how Franklin is involved in Dr. Doom's plan? You want to hear it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so my theory is that because it's established in this film that Franklin has the powers to like resurrect people from the dead, he's probably going to use Franklin and manipulate him into resurrecting Scarlet Witch from the dead from like her burial site in Multiverse of Madness, and then use her as a stand-in for the Molecule Man to like absorb the powers of Loki, of God Loki from the Loki series, so that he can become God of the multiverse. That's what I think he's gonna do.
You think the writers are that smart? You think the writers are that smart to do all that?
Oh my god.
Maybe.
That's a fair point. That's a fair question. But think about it. That's why Sue Storm should have went ahead and died. Because they could have used her death to try to get Reed. Doom could have got Reed and Franklin. Like, hey, I have the ability to bring her back if you help me do this. Right? Give him more ammo to ammunition to use. So I agree. That's like a fake out. Because that doesn't mean anything in MCU, really.
JG, do you know how scary it would have been, JG, for Reed Richards to be angry and full of rage and being 100% focused on his work because his wife died? Like, I feel like the villains need to hide. I'm like, Reed is angry and he's like, I'm not sleeping until all evil is gone. I'm like, I want to see that movie.
Terrence.
That would be
fun.
What the fuck
is Reed Richards going to do with his stretchy powers?
Hold on.
I said his intellect.
Beaming Khan, I don't mess with Rob like that, so that wouldn't happen. Sorry. Like, we still friends, but we don't have any communication with each other anymore. So that won't happen. So, but at the end of the day, right? Did this movie have some good stuff in it? 100%.
Yeah, sure.
The chase scene with Silver Surfer and everything. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad I brought that up. Because we're gonna talk about this now. They decide that they are going to go to an event horizon. They're going to travel close to an event horizon, right? Which they do. And they get Silver Surfer caught in it, but they were so close to it. By the time they got back to the planet, it would have been like 100 years later. Right? They were too close to the event horizon because time goes slower, and the closer you get to a black hole. And as close as they were, it would not have been a month's time where they got back to Earth.
I think Reed was, he forgot to be smart in that scene. I think they kind of, maybe they took a break from the writing and then they came back after a couple months and finished the script, but they forgot where they were. I think that's what happened.
Now, I like the fact that they actually used time dilation and all of that. They talked about it, but you guys were in that time dilation as well, right? You don't have to get like right up into a black hole. If you watch Interstellar, right? And Neil deGrasse Tyson says that some of the stuff they talk about in there with the Event Horizon is pretty scientifically accurate. So they were close enough to the Event Horizon to actually have felt a time flex themselves, right? So, but by the time they got out and got back to Earth, you could have, and that's what I said, it could have even been like 10 years. You know what I mean?
Dan, you know how crazy that would have been, Anzo? Like, if they would have been there for like 10 years and they're like, okay, let's go back to Earth. And it reads like, you hear some beep and he's like, I don't see the planet anymore. Like, what? I'm like, see? Science, Reed. You were talking about science the whole movie.
100%. And you know what's funny? No, I would have still said they came back, the Earth is still there. But I would have said Galactus didn't eat the Earth yet because he's looking for Franklin, right? He doesn't know they're in the Event Horizon, so he's not. He's waiting. Because the whole goal, of course, he went there to eat the planet, and then he found out about Franklin and wanted Franklin, right? Let me finish, please. Then you can talk, right? So, I think that at the end of the day, they could have went back 10 years later to explain that. Hey, had Silver Surfer go talk to Galactus. I found them. You know what I mean? After she gets out their back or whatever, something like that. And then he goes to the planet. But if you're going to be scientific and then you're going to have them in a Event Horizon, you got to stick with that logic, though. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Kiki.
I agree.
Oh yeah. What was I gonna bring up earlier? It was about. I actually think that if Galactus had actually succeeded in getting Franklin and like using his powers to like cure his situation or something, maybe he wouldn't have eaten the Earth. Maybe he would have. He said he was gonna cure his current state he's in, where he has to constantly feed off planets. Like with Franklin's power, he no longer has to do that anymore. So I mean, you don't know.
He said that if I have Franklin, because the female Silver Surfer, she was just like, "Hey man, why you need that baby, man? You Galactus, you don't need no baby." He's like, "Hey, let me educate you, Surfer. Like if I get Franklin, I can satisfy my hunger. I don't have to eat planets no more. Do you know what it's like to be hungry constantly for millions of years?" That's basically what he was saying.
Yeah.
So that's exactly my point.
No, but I get him getting Franklin at the end of this movie would have been really dark. They weren't going to do that. I get that, but I would have been. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, do you know how unfair Galactus is in the comics? Like even Norrin Rad has talked about that. Like you cannot trust him at his word. I happen to be lucky, and he spared my planet, and I became the Surfer. But just because Galactus doesn't eat your planet, don't mean he ain't gonna destroy it. I mean, he's an asshole.
And one thing that I did like too, I'll say this: I like the fact that it was Johnny that figured out the language, right? Because they were trying to show that Johnny is not just the ladies' man type of thing. He's smart too, and it would make sense because usually when you have a bunch of geniuses, they ain't hanging around people that ain't smart like that. You know what I mean? They always gonna hang around smart people, whatever. Even though Johnny is the brother of Sue. It'd be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we're different. So I like the fact that they were able to use him and show that he is smart and was able to figure out the language and stuff like that. I enjoyed that. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Hey, Terrence, you said earlier that the writers are not going to be smart enough to go through with my theory. I mean, why not? I mean, it's the same writers that are working that worked on Infinity War and Endgame, and from what I understand, you love those films too.
Yeah, we love those films for what they are, but they did nothing that you know what I mean was like epic. Or okay, well I won't say that because the end fight scene at Endgame was epic. But they didn't do nothing. Anyways, I'll let Terrence. So go ahead, Terrence.
No. I'm just thinking about what he said, and I'm like, well, have you seen the last 5 years of the MCU? Like overall, I'm like, with these writers, what happens is for everything that makes us cheer and bust in our pants, there's a bunch of disappointment and fumbles. So no, I don't think they're smart enough to do it until I see it and they prove to me. And naturally, I want to enjoy the projects. I want to have a good time because I truly love these characters and I'm passionate about them. So I would prefer for them to be on point as much as possible. It don't have to be, you know, a copy and paste, but don't like do nothing weird or nerf or disrespect the character. Don't do none of that kind of stuff. Just come up with your own vision, but still keep things intact to keep it fun for us, but to not disappoint us simultaneously. Don't do that.
I see where you're getting at, Terrence. But here's the thing: I fully trust the Russos enough to not actually depower Doom because, because like he's gonna be like the big main event villain for the next two Avengers films. So I trust them not to depower him.
Oh yeah, like okay, so when it comes to the action, I expect it to be action packed more than anything else. Like I feel like the fight scenes, who we see, like I don't know, the Wesley Snipes Blade, Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider, all that's gonna get the film $3 billion easy. But my thing is the story. It's like, are we gonna care about the stories, or is it just gonna be the characters using their powers and fighting and stuff? Because if that's what it is, that'll be entertaining. And you know, I feel like that's probably all anyone will care about when the time comes.
That's exactly what it's going to be. You know, like 90% of these characters that they're bringing in are going to die, right?
I wouldn't say 90%, but yeah.
But see, Nzo, see, what they don't know is that if I start seeing that, I don't want to see certain characters die. Like, we're not going to play that game. I will walk out fast. If I see a character screaming too long, you're going to have to tell me what happened. I'm going to leave. I'm like, nope, you ain't killing my characters. Nope, you better kill him instead.
We're going to have a few, like, fight scenes, especially if they're going to do the battle world type of thing. We're going to have some big major fight scenes, but there's going to be a lot of, like, montages to people dying. Right? They're not going to have enough time to show everybody that, like, everybody in these movies that they're bringing is not going to have major screen time because then it'll be like a 6-hour movie, right?
Facts.
Yeah. So you're bringing in the X-Men, you're bringing in all these characters, you're bringing them in to die. That's it. They may have a couple of lines, couple of scenes, but they are going to die. Professor X is going to die. That's going to die, right? I don't know if they're going to kill Wolverine.
Also, could you share my screen? Yeah, it's related to what we're talking about. Just share my screen real quick. Okay, like Terrence, just imagine if Doomsday opens up like this.
Damn. Yeah, I could see it. They trying to get me to leave, but I don't want this to happen. You know, even though
they could do something like that. They could do something like that, definitely 100%. But they won't. That's not how it's going to start, right? And it may start. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because Infinity War started with Hulk getting his ass beat. So they may do something to show how powerful Dr. Doom is, which they may do, but at the end of the day, they may make Dr. Doom powerful, but they're probably going to depower a lot of these other superheroes that they're going to have in there. Russos do that. They depowered Thanos in fucking Infinity War because, like JG said, Captain America was able to hold his hand up even for a second.
Right. I was like, what super soldier serum is that? Can I get some? Exactly. Like the whole Galactus was like, really, even not Galactus, but Thanos was surprised, like, what is going on here? Because to me, like, the characters as they are awesome. So you never need to depower them. You just need to get, bless you. You just need to get, writers that know these characters, and then everybody can shine and be what you expect them to be with some surprises with the writing. So to me, like with Dr. Doom, I'm like, this is the same dude that went into Wakanda, got to the vibranium, was able to convince the boss, Panther God, that he was actually right about his plans, and he got access to the vibranium. So I'm like, Dr. Doom is hacked. But what I don't want to see is him being hacked to the point to where all the other characters can't do nothing. I want to see a back and forth, and then he wins, not let me forget that I know how to use my powers kind of scenario. Like it's kind of like, if you have a martial artist and they tell you they've been training for years, but then they only do one punch the whole fight. I'm like, what happened to your other skill set?
Mm-hmm. Everybody thought Iron Man was dead in the first Avenger ban. Since when is Iron Man strong enough to use an Infinity Gauntlet? Well, he actually wasn't, because he died, right? he died using it, so he wasn't strong enough. Now, the problem that I have is what they did with Hulk using it and messed up his arm. I wasn't really interested in that.
I remember you told me that, Anzo, that what I told you at the time, Anzo, was that I didn't mind that his arm was hurt as much as it was that it just didn't heal, because I was like, I expected it to heal, and I'm like, I get it, the stones, and that's like a different level of power, but I'm like, we still talking about the Hulk, I mean, shoot, Red Hulk, who's a lot weaker than Green Hulk, was able to punch out a Watcher with one punch, and the Hulk is way stronger than that. So it's just
And
interesting
Terrence,
how they've treated the Hulk. Like, the Hulk has been cucked so severely in the MCU.
yeah, Terrence, there's one more thing I want to add to what you just said. Like, I would actually argue that his arm being burnt from the Infinity Gauntlet actually doesn't make sense, because, as he said, the radiation is mostly gamma, and the Hulk gets his powers from gamma radiation. Like, he absorbs gamma. So how would it scar him when that's the thing that gives him his powers?
So now
that is part of it, but that's not the only thing that's in the stones. You want to talk about the science of stuff and everything that's with the stones. That's why Thanos was able to use them and not get hurt, because of how powerful he is. But other individuals, when they use them, they get injured because they're not on his level.
But you see, that's the thing.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Hulk's healing power should have fixed his arm, right?
Oh,
and they left his arm like that for years. So that was a problem for me.
Right.
But that's where I go to. We're saying that they may not depower Doom, but they may depower the other mutants in the universe, right? There are some that they're going to have in there that are going to be stronger than Doom, and they're going to have to depower them to show that this is how, this is why they can't beat Doom or something like that.
Right.
And I get that Doom is as smart as Reed Richards. I get that Doom is a very powerful, but I think Galactus is more of an Avenger type event than Doom is, to be honest with you.
Sure.
I mean?
Right. Because even Dr. Doom said in the comics to Reed, he was like, Galactus is a huge problem. I hate you, but I might have to team up with you to fight him. So yeah, that's what it is.
Right. Anzo just complaining like a Karen. Whatever.
Wow.
Y'all just mad. Y'all just mad because I'm speaking facts about this movie, right? Y'all just cap it for this movie. I get it. If you like the movie, no problem. More power to you. But let's not sit there and act like it's the best thing, like white on rice. You know what I mean? Let's not do that, because it, like Terrence said, it is mid to us. Bro, Galactus is way more powerful than King. Exactly. That's why they should have never been able to do what they did to Galactus. And I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that, and I will always stand down on that. What's up, Jack Claus? On that. I will always stand down on that she shouldn't have been able to do that to Galactus. And then again, if Galactus can shrink and enlarge when he gets fucking richer, why doesn't he just grow big and then fucking eat the planet?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he normally does. Like, he, if he gets something or he's done searching, he'll just get so big to where the planet's like a baseball. You know what I mean? Galactus don't play. Like, he says that he doesn't think about it from an emotional perspective, but when he gets mad, man, everybody's in trouble when he get mad.
Anzo.
Feel stuff.
Wait, hold on. Yes, Anik, there are facts being spoken 100%. And I'll be honest with you, I don't give a damn if anybody agrees with me or not. You guys know this. You watch me long enough to know, Anik. I don't give a shit whether people agree with me or not. I am not in an echo chamber of people. You don't have to agree with me. You don't even have to like my opinion. Right? But it's my opinion and it's my facts. All right. I'm gonna say it straight up. It's my facts. And again, it's not like It's not like I'm making up bullshit, right? It's not like I'm sitting here saying, oh my God, this movie is so woke because Sue Richards is the one that beat Galactus. I ain't saying shit like that, right? I'm not doing this bullshit woman talk and all this race bending and this and that. I don't do that. I go on the story. I go on what I like, what I think should be feasible, what I think doesn't make sense. And Sue doing what she did to Galactus does not make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, brother Nzo, check this out. Like I told my friend that went with me, I'm like, imagine if we got Rocky 4 and at the beginning of the movie, Ivan Drago lost.
Yeah.
Like Ivan Drago was a menace because it was like they built him up and all this stuff, and then he took out Apollo Creed, and then Rocky struggled against him in the end. It was just like, can this dude lose? And then when he bled for the first time, it was like, what? He's human. What? He's human. Like it just made you feel a certain way. So I feel like my position was just that they robbed that from me from seeing Galactus. I wanted it to be like an event where you finally hurt him or you find a weakness or something. Like that's what I wanted to see.
And before I get to this comics, I'm going to say this, right? If we're doing a cinematic universe, right, like the MCU has been doing, you gotta have some movies where the bad guy wins, right? Mm-hmm. We cannot have all these movies where all the bad guys are getting smoked.
Is this true?
Hold on.
Is this true?
I'm getting to that, bro. Stop cutting people off. Thank you. Sorry. Right? So
you got excited.
So what I'm saying is that I think if you're doing 22 movies, 30 movies, whatever, you have a 10-year plan. In those 10-year plans, you got to have some movies where the bad guy wins. You just got it. You can't have every single bad guy always constantly losing, right? And that's just me. That's just my opinion because I like certain movies where the bad guys win, and I think that you gotta do a little bit more of that. So it's just been announced that RDJ won't have a disfigured face for Doom. Now RDJ might be a terrible decision as casting. So here's my thing. I'm not gonna say it's a terrible decision to cast him until I see it. Okay, yeah, we see it. Thank you, Finn. Yeah, thank you. So I won't say it's a terrible casting until I see it because everybody and their mothers was talking about how bad of a casting Pedro Pascal was for Reed Richards, and he was amazing. He was great. There is no doubt about it. I felt like he was a Reed Richards. You know what I mean? So I don't have a problem with that. So if Robert Downey Jr. can make us, and he's a great actor, so I honestly believe that he can make us feel like he's totally different than a Tony Stark's character, right? So I'm going to leave that up for debate yet to see that. But you also know that because it's Robert Downey Jr., that he's not going to have his mask on all the time, right? It's Robert Downey Jr. They're going to show his face. So to say he doesn't have a scar, yeah, I could see that. I could 100% see that because Robert Downey Jr., right? His face. He's not going to be one of those actors that walks around in the mask all the time, you know. So,
but my thing is, look, if he's out fighting and stuff, right? They're going to be doing all the CGI and stuff. Keep his mask on. Like maybe when he's chilling, drinking a glass of lemonade with his feet kicked up, bragging about how he whoops some ass. Then you can show Robert Downey Jr.'s face.
Yeah, I agree. You're gonna say Shifty, Geeky?
Okay, what I was gonna say is them announcing that Doctor Doom is not going to have a disfigured face is fucking stupid and it makes me question whether they actually understand the character of Doctor Doom, because the entire point of Doom's character is that the entire reason he wears that mask is because he has such a huge ego and hubris about himself that it's basically the catalyst for his descent into megalomania. It's not just a scar, it's literally a reminder of his failure, and he doesn't want to be reminded of that. He wears that mask so that he constantly reminds himself, hey, I'm not a failure, I'm better than Richards, I'm smarter than him, I am the only one worthy of ruling this planet. Like, that's the whole point of him wearing that mask. It's because of his disfigured face, and for them saying that his face won't be disfigured, and that, what the fuck is the point of the mask then? If you're not gonna make his face disfigured, then why bother having him wear the mask? I'm sorry
So,
to get angry, but this is
again,
Oh, you trust those writers now, Geeky? You trust them now? You trust those writers?
yeah, exactly. Touche,
Yeah, I told you.
JG.
I told
Touche.
you.
And this is the thing.
touche.
I don't disagree with you. I don't. But when it was announced that it was Robert Downey Jr., did you guys really think that he was gonna have a star in his face? It's Robert Downey Jr. This is the guy that commands like $20 million for a movie, if not more, right? No telling what he got paid to be in this movie. So there's no way that he's gonna allow them to show his face disfigured and scarred. Now,
Right,
what
they
they
should
should
be
do,
more because of him.
right now, what they should do is kind of what they did in the original Secret War comic, where when he got the Beyonder's power, his face went back to normal, right? So now if you're bringing in Franklin and they're showing Franklin, then they could show that his face is disfigured and Franklin is the one that puts it back to the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, Anzo, I kind of maybe take back what I said earlier. If they have it like at the end of Doomsday when he finally gets God Loki's powers, because we all know he's gonna come after Loki to steal his powers, and he uses Franklin Richards to like fix his face and make himself scarred, and he doesn't see the need to wear his mask anymore, then I could see it working. But if they establish from the very beginning that he actually doesn't have a disfigured face, then there's no point in him wearing the mask.
I agree. But that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that maybe it's Richards that fixes his face, right? Because when they show the end credit scene, Richards is like touching his face. So to me, it seems like he's probably touching the scars or the messed up face he has. And then maybe it's like, oh, show me your power or whatever. And then boom, fixes his face. So I could see that. I could see them doing something like that.
See, we can see that. See that right there? That means that individuals can just come up and bat their eyes and trick Franklin into doing stuff he's not supposed to do. Yeah, we're gonna have a problem in the MCU. Yep.
Well, maybe not even trick him, right? But I'm a good guy and this and that, and you know what I mean? Like maybe not trick him, but I don't know. I think there's a way that they can do it to where Franklin actually fixes his face, and then they can explain it that way. But who knows what they're gonna do? Like I said,
Franklin, run. Do not talk to Mysterio. You see how he got Spider-Man to give up them glasses? Franklin, run if you see Mysterio. It's over. It's over.
Mike, are you there? You back? No, Mike's still not back. Okay. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, does the movie have some good stuff in it? It does. Does it have some horrible stuff in it? 100%. I thought it was boring. I thought they could have put a lot more action sequence in between a lot of the talking, because I wasn't sitting there for a science lesson. You know what I mean? That's not what I went to a Marvel movie for. I didn't go there for a science lesson. I went there to watch an entertaining, action-packed movie. You got Galactus in there, and so let me tell you something. The Galactus fight, I'll tell you, it exactly starts. Wow. Even here, an hour and 25 minutes into the movie, and the movie is an hour and 44 minutes.
That shit feel like 2.5 hours long, man. God.
Terrible. My friend, he was getting irritated. He nudged me. He was like, "Damn, T, where the hell is Galactus?" I was like, "I don't know. Maybe he's a mid-credit scene. I don't know. Like shit."
I mean, when you think about it, though, we kind of expected this, right? Because the MCU does this a lot. When they will tease show a big threat, you won't see them towards the end of the movie, right? And they will like get rid of them so, I'm not gonna say easily, but not as difficult as it probably should have been.
It's underwhelming. It's like basically what we create in our head is better than what we end up getting.
Exactly.
100%. 100%.
Maybe they ran out of budget. I don't know.
Oh shit! Thank you for saying that. The CGI baby was horrible. We got to stop.
Oh yeah, the CGI was horrible. Yeah, it was some CGI mess, dude. Man,
I will give you that.
They got to stop doing the CGI babies, bro. Like I don't know what it is, but they can't get the CGI babies right. They need to stop doing these things. Like every CGI baby we see, The Squid Game CGI baby was horrible. The one in this movie was horrible, and the one in the Flash was horrible. Like, we gotta stop doing the CGI
Just use
babies,
the real
man.
babies like how they used to do in the OG Charm series. They had real babies there when they just put the special effects around them, and it helped the scene because you're like, oh, the baby's in danger. But if it's CGI, you're taken out of it. You're like, man, that baby fine. It ain't even there. Like, what we doing here?
Andre, you change the rules whenever it suits you, but when I said Sue probably got her strength from Franklin because he was in her stomach, you dismissed it. Because it's been 3 months. He was 3 months old by the time Galactus got there. So you're telling me that power stayed in her for 3 months? Nah, bro. I'm not dismissing what you're saying, but I'm speaking logic. All right, that is logic, right? There's no way that you're going to tell me that the power, if that's the case, that the power actually stayed in there. And they never explain it. At least they can explain why Dr. Doom's face is not messed up, if that's where you're going with that, right? If that's the case, then yes, they can explain that. They don't explain that she has the power of Franklin in her, and that's why she was able to do that. They don't explain that. So now what you're saying is, well, maybe is maybe. We don't know that. Unless they tell us in that movie, we don't know. Yes, it is logic. It's 100% logic, because at the end of the day, they will tell us why Dr. Doom's face is not. I'm not saying Franklin is not powerful. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is, you are assuming that the reason why she was able to do that is because she still had reminiscence of Franklin's power in her. What I'm saying is, they can show us that Doom's face has been fixed because Franklin did it. It's two different things, bro. Two different things, man.
What about Doom's face? Mike, you there? I'm here.
Yeah. So
what about Doom's face?
So they confirmed that Dr. Doom's face is not going to be scarred in Doomsday.
And I literally.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me go, bro. Calm down, please. Thank you. So
that
what
makes
I was
no sense.
telling,
That's why he's wearing the mask.
Right. And that's what Geeky was talking about, and that's what I agreed with. But what I was saying is, they can show it that maybe Franklin fixes his face, right?
Oh, well, that's
right.
Oh, no. Well, in Secret Wars, in the Secret Wars that happened in 2015, he eventually becomes like God Doom or whatever, and he heals his face. But he's so what's the word? I don't want to say traumatized or whatever, but he still wears the mask. Because he has like
always been wearing it.
Yeah, you know. So.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So
that's what he is.
So that's what I'm saying. So and that's what I'm talking to Anik about, because he's saying I had a problem with saying that, oh, maybe Sue got her powers because Franklin is the most powerful mutant and he was in her stomach. But Franklin was born in space, right? Franklin was like 3 months before Galactus came. So you're telling me that power that she had from Franklin being born stayed with her for 3 months? Not to mention the fact that the movie never tells us that. So you're assuming that that's why she had the power. What I'm saying is that they can actually show us why Doom's face is not scarred up. So there's totally a big difference there.
Yeah, but you're conflating. So what does Sue's power have to do with Doom's face? I'm confused.
No. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Is okay. So let me go back to it.
No, because I know it went after Franklin healed her. Like her eyes did like a thing. So like I don't know if that was like him giving her some, because Galactus said he had the power cosmic. So maybe he I don't know, maybe he gave her some of that or something. You know, that's what he did to bring her back. You know, no, I'm talking about bringing her back. I'm just talking because
Yeah, no, that's possible. But what? So let me read the comments so you kind of understand. He said, "Nzo, you're changing the rules whenever it suits you. But when I said Sue probably got her strength from Franklin because he was in her stomach, you dismissed it. So I was saying, so he's trying to say that because she was able to do what she did to Galactus is because she had some of Franklin's strength because he was in her stomach. What I'm saying is they don't tell you that in the movie. So one, you're assuming that. And two, Franklin has been 3 months old before Galactus came in, around that, right? Because they confirmed that Silver Surfer was going to be stuck in the void for a month. It does not take a month to build all of those things around the planet. So it was probably a good 3 months before Galactus got there. So you're trying to tell me that the power of Franklin was still lingering in her body for 3 months because she never fought no other and it came out it doesn't make sense.
Maybe Reed's super sperm was still in there because he was concerned from the get go. He was like, hey, he's like, what if something happens with between we were always concerned about trying to have a baby, concerned about what would happen because of the cosmic stuff that happened to us. Like he said that at the beginning.
Hey Mike,
He said, okay, hold on. He said, Nzo, not everything is explained. Sometimes movies let the audience decipher. 100%. Wow. No, 100%. You are correct on that. But when you have something like this and you don't explain it, that is bad writing. Because now you have people complaining about how she's strong enough to do it. You have people making assumptions that she had the power from Franklin, when you could have simply made a little statement in the movie to say, oh, she had, Franklin gave her enough power to do that because it was in her stomach.
Nzo.
So at the end of the day, it's bad writing.
Brother Nzo, let me run this by you real quick.
Hold on. Let Mike go first.
Hold on, I just gotta say this, Terrence. Nzo, you know that I fuck with you. You know that. Mm-hmm. But mm-hmm. I cannot her exerting herself like that at the cost of her life shows that she was pushing herself to her extremes. And I get it. Okay, so it's not about Franklin. It's not about, like I said, maybe Reed.
I'm not saying I'm not saying Franklin.
It's like how sometimes, and this is something that happens in real life too. How sometimes, and it's not just mothers, it's also fathers, or even sometimes humans. Like under adverse situations, sometimes they find strength to do things 100%. That they wouldn't normally do. 100%. This to me, and how I framed it, and how I was able to process it, is one of those situations. Because to me, honestly, hold on. Honestly, as much as I liked the movie and I did, them using Franklin as bait was just like that. I know there was like some cosmic signature that he gave off and stuff like that, but I'm like, y'all are risking your child. Like you don't want to give your child to him, but you're literally putting him on the fucking hook, letting him hang out 100%. Here like for Galactus to come and get him.
What other option did they have though?
Hold on,
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. It caused me to, do what Nzo did. Or I was just like, to me, I know it was like, the Hail Mary and all that, but it's like, and they did, as soon as he was headed that way or something or whatever it was, then they got him out of there and gave him the Herbie and stuff. I saw that, but they, because they were trying to do the okie doke to him, but like, I just, it isn't. He didn't.
It's a bad plan. It was a bad plan. But hold on.
No.
But now let me address what you.
It wasn't OP. It's like
no, 100%. But let me address what you said, Mike. So first off, I'm not the one saying that she got the power from the baby. It's Anik Jones saying that. I'm not saying that because at the end of the day, if you don't explain that in the movie, then you're just making assumptions, right? So I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, I agree that you have seen people do super feats when they are in stress, when you know what I mean, you see people pick up cars and stuff like that. 100%. I get that. I just don't think that it should have been strong enough to do it to Galactus. That is my point.
Dude,
Galactus
if she
is
bodied him,
way too powerful for her to be able to even hold him in place.
If she bodied him, she wasn't holding his entire body. If she bodied him and knocked him to the ground and did a fucking Mortal Kombat fatality, I would agree 110% with you, unless she got some sort of power upgrade.
I wish I could show it because she had enough power so the first time she does it, she grabs his arm with her power and he brushes it off like it's a bug, right? Mm-hmm. Then she does it again. And she's putting more power, which slows him down, but then stops him, turns him around, and starts pushing him.
Now, didn't they also make a point of her hearing Franklin, like her hearing that he had Franklin, or was that with Reed? I can't remember if that was with her or that was with Reed. But there was a moment where he realized, or she realized, that Galactus had Franklin, and that's, I think, what gave her that final boost of power.
Yes, I do dismiss that, Anik, because it is bullshit. That is an assumption. That is not in the movie. That is an assumption. That is you assuming that remnants of Franklin's power was in her and was what able to make her do that. Until you can tell me that someone in the movie or the directors and someone came out and said, oh yeah, that's the reason why she was able to do it. Until then, you are assuming. So 100% I am going to dismiss it because you don't have no solid facts on that. Again, I get the thing about strength. I've seen it in real life. You watch videos, you can see it. 100% that is a thing. What I am saying is that even though she may have been able to summon up power, she should not have been strong enough to summon enough power to turn Galactus around and start pushing him into a portal while the 3 other fucking Fantastic Four were out, down and out. It should have been a team effort. I would have been more accepting of it if it was a team effort. Like she was able to hold him. Johnny comes, starts burning him. Thing comes in and smashes him. And Reed Richards is doing his stretching power to pull him into the portal as well.
Actually, wait a minute.
I wouldn't have had a problem with that.
Didn't Ben knock down the building that he was holding on?
That's all he did. That's all he did.
Right.
He knocked he knocked down the building, but he should have been knocking Galactus, right? Remember when he comes in and he's flying on from Johnny and say it, and he comes in and he does the battering ram, boom. He should have done more stuff like that. Johnny should have been burning his ass up, right? You could have even said that Johnny did his, Nova power or whatever and did shit like that. You could have had, Reed Red stretching to like he never stretched before, trying to also pull him in there. You get a full team effort, and that's how
Galactus had already stretched him out. Like, I mean,
yeah, I know. I like that scene too. But
Brother Nzo, let me
very poor choice of words.
So, Nzo, what it boils down to is that you hate women, is what you're saying, right? We got it.
Oh no, Mike! Listen. Hold on. We gotta do this.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck-ups to shut.
And Mike is gone from the stream, all right?
Wow.
Mike,
let me run this by you real quick, because to your points right now, I know you didn't really fuck with the show like that, but the OG charm, right? So one of the characters, Piper, right? She made it with Leo, who was a white lighter, right? So you're talking about 2 powerful beings. They had a baby. So Piper, she was pregnant with her son, Wyatt. So this baby was able to teleport. He's able to go into hell dimensions and universes and generate, power beams and throw all these different mystical, magical balls, right? But when he was in his mother, Piper, when she would get attacked by demons, they would get deflected and kill the demons trying to kill her. But the only reason why she was able to withstand and do extra stuff with her powers is because her powerful son was still inside of her, right? So when he got out of her, she didn't have that no more, because they explained that it was linked to her son directly. So even when she was separated from him, the effects wore off rather quickly. So I was just using that as a way to get you to see your point was good about the idea that, when the child has been removed for that long of a time, that you just wouldn't have the powers anymore in the same way that you would if the child were still inside of you.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, if they would have mentioned it, I'd have been like, okay, but they don't. So now you're assuming that that's the reason why she was able to do it. And I don't mess with that. Like, I want people to tell, like, so for example, I'm trying to remember what it was. There was something that we all were assuming about a movie, and then the directors came out and said, no, it's damn, what is it? It'll come back to me because it was.
Oh, you're talking about artificial intelligence? Because everybody was saying that they were, machines or whatever, or that they were aliens. But then Steven.
Oh no, I know what it is. I know what it is. Okay, so it's it's Lex message, the parents' message in Superman, right? So everybody was assuming that even after the movie, oh, Lex probably doctored it. You know what I mean? The translation is wrong or whatever. But James Gunn came out and said, no, that's the message. And he said, I don't understand how people don't understand that that's the message. I made a point to say it 3 times in the movie that is the message, right? That was the message. Kiki, let me finish, bro. Calm down. So that's what I'm saying. So until something like that happens, because we all assume that, except for me, I kind of thought it was the message. I really thought that that's where they were going with that, which I was okay with. But a lot of people are like, oh, no, they're doing the same thing as Smallville. It's not the message. The translation's wrong. Lex did this, Lex did that. But then you end up finding out James Gunn's coming out and saying that it is the message. So, okay, fine. That cuts that argument out now. So if the guy who directed this movie comes out and says that, then boom, my argument is done. Okay, so that's the reason why she was able to do it. Okay, and then I can give you that because Franklin is the most powerful mutant in the universe. He's supposed to be, right? So I can give you that.
I'm curious, Nzo. Did you hear about that controversy though with the artificial intelligence movie?
No.
So like you seen that movie, right? The one with the boy who's a machine. Okay, so context. So the movie is about machines, and there's a boy named David. You know, he looks human, but it turns out he's an AI, right? You're watching the movie, there's a reason for that. But it gets to a point in the movie where you have a time jump, and you see a bunch of characters where they appear to be aliens, right, Anzo? But they're not. They're just advanced machines. So the controversy was like, why did aliens show up? So Steven Spielberg was like, no, there were multiple scenes in the movie to let you know. Like, in fact, when David was talking to one of the other machines, he says the reason why humans are destroying us is because they fear us because we're their superior, and that when all the dust settles, all that will be left is us. And when you get to the future, you have mostly machines that are left. So I was just curious if you were aware of that kind of similar thing where,
what movie was this?
Artificial Intelligence.
Artificial Intelligence by Steven Spielberg.
Oh yeah.
The AI movie.
Fire.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I didn't realize what movie.
Trash.
I got you. Yeah.
Then let me say this about Superman and this Jor-El nonsense. Number one, these people, like, they're stupid. They've never read a comic book in their lives, and again, they keep doing things where they complain because the movie isn't exactly what I agree in the comic books. Okay. Mm-hmm. In the 80s, when John Byrne refreshed the characters or rebooted them or whatever, it was even on the cover of Time magazine, he made Jor-El and Lara, he made them, I don't want to say like he made them cold. They were more like, they were more what's the word? Sterilized, or like the way Krypton was, where it was like all clean, sterile, and all that. That's what he made them. He said he didn't say that.
That's what James mentioned, that he, that they played around with it, Mike. But see, but James also said.
Hold on, Terrence. Let me finish. Because when he did that in there, they didn't say that he was going to go to Earth and conquer and all that stuff. They just said by virtue of the fact that he is the one with the powers, like eventually he'll just ascend to being in the position of superiority because he has powers and the Earthlings wouldn't. But all these people that are complaining about it, and somebody said, and one of those grifters that you're a fan of, Anzo, came out and said, "Oh, that fundamentally changes Superman," and that's bullshit. Because the only 100%. Thing those two contributed to Superman was sperm and an egg. That is it. Yes. Yeah. Okay. The ones who gave Superman his ethics, his morals, and his humanity were the Kents. Okay. Mm-hmm. And as long as James Gunn didn't fuck with them, I was good. I don't care what what Bradley Cooper said.
I didn't have a problem with it either.
But to your point, Mike, right? So James, he did say that they toyed around with it. I personally wasn't a fan of it because usually it's more Zor-El is like the colder one, which is Kara's father. So I would have preferred if it would have turned out that they, Lex was manipulating it, and then you get like the real footage and Zor-El.
His smear campaign. Yeah,
Mike?
exactly. I agree with you, Terrence. But I mean, this is the thing, though. This is what we're going to get, Terrence. They're not exactly, and we saw this with Infinity War. I mean, that whole Infinity Gauntlet thing, like, it didn't play out the way they're going to cherry pick the things that they want, and sometimes, you just got to roll. Okay, you know what? This might not be the thing that I like, but I'm going to go with this. I mean, you're never, unless it's like, even Infinity War didn't happen the way that it did, but as a movie, to me, that's the best Marvel movie, bar none.
Right.
I don't care what you even
Facts.
come up with. Infinity
Yeah,
War
100%.
is hands down. It is the spirit. It is the spirit of one of those, like when you sit there and you're talking with your friends and you're like, oh, well, what if, Fantastic Four teamed up with, Captain America and the Thing, and like just the crossovers that would happen. That is a comic book. That's the very definition of a comic book movie. And
100%.
they had so many characters, like, so this is why I say to people and my customers when they come in, don't, like, when you go, because Terrence, you'll enjoy this. I had a customer come in, a little kid looking for Black Adam, and I'm like, well, I got this. I showed it to him. He's like, that's not Black Adam. I'm like, this is Black Adam. It doesn't look like The Rock, and I'm like, dude. Like, Black Adam is not The Rock. Like, stop. Like, and this is.
Right.
I don't know how the company are going to juggle that. Like, where people are going to come in from the movies thinking, because that's what, when the Avengers came out, that's what they did. They rushed in Avengers Assemble, which was, I think,
And they wanted those toys.
and it had the team that was in the comics instead of, because the team that was in the comics wasn't the team that was in the movies. So it had the team in the movies in the comics, and maybe they can do something. Like, I would expect James Gunn, out of the two companies, I would expect James Gunn, because he seems to be more of a comic book head than anybody at Marvel, except for Iman, who should be in charge of Marvel. I would expect him to do something that would align.
Wait. Miss Marvel?
Yeah, Iman Vellani, the cute
She should not be the head of no Marvel.
Oh, no. Do you know how many times?
She knows her shit, Onzo. She knows.
I know she do, but still, she may know her shit, but hold on. She may know her shit, but that don't mean she can make movies.
No. When Onzo hit start this stream, he definitely chose violence tonight because he is just working all.
100%.
All of my nerves. You're starting just like JG with the Jasmine Slim. Now you're gonna start with Iman.
Her name.
Here in JG and I, we are going to align with this because Iman is a comic book head. Do not slander her name, Onzo.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Let me say this. Now, you guys have watched me. I've been on YouTube for 6 years. You guys see how I post my videos and title them. I said that Fantastic Four First Step is garbage, and here's why. So you knew I was coming for war. I would usually just say Fantastic Four First Step spoiler review. I said it was garbage, and here's why. Because I knew that I was going to war tonight. And yes, we are going to war. That little girl may know about comics, but just because you know about the comics don't mean that she's going to be able to make good damn movies.
Well, I mean, okay, but hang on. So even though Iman Vellani knows more than all those humans at Marvel Studios and Disney combined, I feel like I wouldn't necessarily want her to be the boss, but I also wouldn't be mad at it because she knows, and I would be curious, but I'm just kind of in the middle on that. But I do like and respect her because I feel like I could sit down with her and talk for 30 hours about all the comic books because,
And when you got an actress taking it to the studio head, telling him what the way things are because he don't know it, like that says something to me because she's repping comics.
But Mike, the movies are not the comics.
Well, that's right. That's because Kevin Feige is insisting that we are watching in the MCU Earth 616, and she keeps telling him it is not 616. You stupid bald-headed mother.
But it's not the comics, though, right? So you got to take that out of there and be like, so what? She may be telling him, but movies are the movies, the comics are the comics.
But he keeps insisting that it is. This is what I'm saying, Onzo.
But in the movie universe, that's what it is. And since the movies are not the comics, then
so it's not Earth 616. Yes, we agree. What do you're trying to poke at something? We're on the same page here. She's standing up for us. What are you talking about?
Okay, hold on.
Mike?
So let me explain. Explain it out a little bit more. So she's saying that the movie universe is 616, and Kevin Feige.
No.
So she's saying the movie,
one. Yes.
saying that it's the 616.
19999. That's what it
Yes.
is.
That's what it
Okay.
is. She keeps telling him that, and he won't listen.
So why if he's making the movies, then why can't he say it's not the 616?
Because it's not. If it was, I wouldn't have Iron Man comics. He's dead. He ain't coming back. Okay? But I do.
Yeah.
I got Iron Man on my shelf. He's in the books.
Okay.
Mike?
So he's dead in 616?
No, he's dead in the movie. He's dead in the
he's dead in
MCU.
the movies. Yeah. He's dead in, yeah. But
so
again,
if that was the comic book universe, then I would have no Iron Man products to sell. He's dead.
Well, it's still the 616. It's just the movie form, and they're totally different. So
No.
I don't care about what they want to call it in the universe. If they want to say it's 616, if they want to say it's Kakapupu universe, I don't care.
Where's Danny? Somebody get Danny on here. Danny needs to get his guy. Danny needs to come get his guy now. Yes.
Okay, so Mike, I want to address what you said earlier about Jor-El in Superman. For the record,
we're not talking Superman though. We're not talking Superman. We're not talking Superman.
I just want to.
No. We're not talking Superman. I just brought it up as a thing. We're not talking Superman. So if you got Fantastic Four stuff to do, let's do that. Okay, let's stick with that. Let's stick with
that. There you go.
We done past. We done past. All right, get what you have to say out. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing, Mike. I do very much agree with you that even if that translation was accurate, Jor-El and Lara L were not the ones that instilled Clark's morals into him. That was the Kent's job. But Mike, let's just be honest here. If Zack Snyder had done exactly what James Gunn did to Jor-El,
bro, we're not even fucking going there. All right, we're not even going there. We're not going there. Do not bring in those Zack Snyder bullshit.
Dude, after that last stream we did, where somebody went on for a whole hour and a half, I'm like, nope.
We are not doing that. We are not doing that. We're not going to compare what people are going to be.
The internet would have crucified him.
I don't care.
Crucified.
I don't care. We're not doing that, bro. We're not doing the Zack Snyder versus James Gunn stuff. We're not doing it.
Man,
let me just say this one sentence. Let me just say this one sentence. You're right. They would have done that. So instead, he decided to defecate all over the Kents. Thank you.
Right. So brother Nzo, like, all in all, man, like, I thought the Fantastic Four First Steps was decent. I thought I was gonna hate it. It surprised me to a degree, in good ways and some bad. But I feel like it was okay. It could have been worse. It could have been better. I'm curious to see what they do, because for me, Sue Storm, I felt, was the best casting. The other three I got some issues with, but I feel like we'll see. Maybe they'll grow on me. But as it stands now, like, to me, Sue was the standout with, how she acted and, what she did to Galactus. I'm like, Sue was the star. In fact, moving forward, Dr. Doom come out, the Beyonder, they going to talk about how they going to destroy this and reset that. I'm going to be like, Sue, get out here real quick. Sue, where you at, Sue? That's what I'm going to do.
Facts. So I'm going to let JG.
This is
hold on, Mike. I was going to say, I'll let JG go in a bit, but I want to hear, okay, because I've been negative. JG's been there. Cares.
Well, no, Nzo.
I want to hear the positive. You guys.
Did you like the design? Did you like the way it looked? Did you
absolutely?
Like
absolutely.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Yes. I thought the fact that they were using it in the 1960s, but had like modern technology and stuff like that, really cool. It's kind of like a Jackson's type of thing. So I did like that 100%. Didn't have a problem with that. Didn't have a problem with the acting. Didn't have a problem with the visuals, other than the baby, and some CGI was a little bit. I think Silver Surfer could have been a little bit more shinier in certain scenes. I thought she was kind of like a kind of palish type of silver. I would have liked her to glow a bit more. You know what I mean? Other than that, yeah, I didn't have a problem with any of that. But you guys talk about your positive. I'll let Geeky guy go first because I know he's tripping.
Okay. So after I get my positives out of the way, I have something else I got to bring up for Mike. It's not Snyder related. It's Fantastic Four related, but Yeah. So basically, what I really loved about this film was that it stayed true to the core essence of the Fantastic Four by actually having them feel like a family. Because if you're doing an adaptation of those comics, you have to make them feel like a family. If you don't, you miss the point of the Fab Four. And not only that, I also really liked how they had Johnny Storm be like much smarter in this version and had him like figure out the languages and the alien language of Shalabal, because Johnny in the comics was intelligent too. Like he was capable of
his moments.
Like he had moments of intelligence in the comics too, and I
Yes.
love that they brought that up. And not only that, Ralph Ineson as Galactus, chef's kiss, absolutely amazing. Just like he perfectly portrayed Galactus just like how he was in the comics, of this indestructible, world-devouring force of nature that you can't help but cower in the presence of. Every single time he was on screen, you felt his presence, and that's why that's why I would even go as far to say I actually prefer this marginally more than Superman, and only by this. Galactus was a more threatening villain than Nicholas Hoult as Luthor. Because the problem I had with Luthor and Superman was that he was a great and menacing villain up until the third act, when Krypto started dragging him around and he just turned into a joke. But Galactus, no, he was a fucking menace all the way through.
I don't think they turned him into a joke. I just think the joke was unnecessary.
What was he going to do against Crypto? Crypto can fly through metal. He can fly through metal.
The thing that was most menacing about Luthor was the fact that he was stalking Superman down to the point where he had his routines down, so he can call like these patterns out and fight him like remotely, like through other people that were stronger. Like that's more terrifying than this like 9,000 foot. But I will say this one thing that I was disappointed about in the Fantastic Four movie was that they didn't have Galactus's like planet, the machine that he uses. Like, you know, I would have liked, you know, them to show him into like when they went into outer space to see Galactus, he was the same size he was when he came to Earth. He didn't shrink down. He was still that size. They didn't show him celestial size. They only showed him in that one size, which was
okay. So I don't know if you guys seen it in IMAX. And again, I said that earlier where I was like, I'm not 100% sure if when they seen him at that time, they actually seen him as, you know, the size he's really supposed
he
to
was.
be. So,
that was the
so
size. No, he wasn't.
He wasn't like
he can't change
planet size. Huh?
Yeah.
He can change size, right?
But he was the same size. Yeah, he was the same size as they saw when they saw him in outer space.
That's the question I was having, right? So I wasn't 100% sure, because when you see it in IMAX, the way they show it in scale, they kind of show it to make it look like he's the size of, you know, where the planet is a baseball to him. But I wasn't 100% sure.
Oh, and also, Mole Man wasn't always horny for Sue. I honestly, that relationship I saw as respectful. He was like, she was one of the few, like he even said she was the one of the few humans that he respected. Out of I don't care for any of them except for Sue. And he's the only one.
I know he only had a little role in it, but I was like, oh, get
Sue? I thought he said except. I thought he said except a few, not except Sue, because I think I misheard him.
No, he said Sue.
No, it's just Sue. Sue's the only one he would fuck with.
Yeah, he just said.
Okay,
and that's why
these probably
that's why she went to talk to him.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: did you guys have any negatives towards the movie? Mike.
I have one.
I have positives, or because I
skipped right.
No. I said we're gonna go through them. I wanted to hear these guys first. Yeah, I wanted to hear the two. Like these guys are like 100% completely positive, so I wanted to hear them talk positive about it first, and then we can go into stuff. But Mike, Geeky, hold on. Let Mike go first. I said Mike, then you, because you went first last time. So Mike, go ahead.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the visuals. I enjoyed the 60s aesthetic. I enjoyed.
No, did you have any negatives?
Oh, negatives. Again, the Galactus didn't have his machine. The only thing I didn't have a problem. The only CGI I had that stretched me a little bit was when Reed was getting stretched. Other than that, I didn't. The surfer didn't bother me. I did like when she was surfing. I enjoyed Johnny's. Ben looked good. I'm trying to. I think. Oh, and also, I would have, because a comic book again, but I do understand. I would have rather had what's her name, Alicia, instead of whoever that chick was. Oh my god, I can't even remember her name. Was it Rachel? What was the chick's name? The one that
Rachel, yeah.
I would have rather had Alicia Masters instead of him, and then that would have tied in, because I think they did mention Puppet Master too. But whatever, that's just a comic book fan, whatever. And maybe she'll show up in another one, and who knows? But that would be a negative for me. But everything else, I mean, oh, and also, I didn't mind it. I truly didn't mind it, but I would have liked the Thing's voice to be a little rougher. But I was okay with it. Like, it worked, and I'm a fan of the bear, and I like him in the bear, so I'm good. Like, it was fine. These are the absolute cosmetic nitpicks, but it was an enjoyable experience. The end credit scenes were what they were. I didn't expect them to be earth shattering, whatever. Fine. So who cares? The rest of the movie was good. That's all that matters.
Go ahead, Kiki.
Okay, so for me, the two big negatives I have is that. Anzo, this is the one criticism I can kind of understand where you're coming from. The pacing did get a little slow, kind of like halfway through the movie. So like during the middle act, the pacing was a little slow, and I wish they could have speeded up a little bit. And the second negative I do have with this film, it's not like a huge negative that bogs down the film's quality. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine. But I really do wish they picked another villain from the comics instead of Galactus for this film. And the reason why I say this is because Galactus, like you said before, is a Thanos level threat. So they should have saved him for like the second or third film. The one villain who I think would have been perfect, like a planetary level threat for them to take on for this film, was Owen Reese, the Molecule Man. Like, I think Molecule Man would have been perfect for the villain for this film.
Gotcha.
Well, see, they didn't. Right. Galactus might be cosmic, but I mean, they body him on the regular. It's not like it's something like in the movies, Thanos, they made Thanos to be a big thing, but like I guess they could have done that with Galactus. But I mean, Galactus, and there were actually also times where Galactus worked with them too. So
yeah.
I mean,
but they do that a lot in the comics, right? But because comics have like what 40, 50 years, not even longer.
Well, and not only that, but they got 12 issues a year, sometimes even more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so you're gonna have times where they get bodied.
2 hours every 3 years or something,
Right,
So I mean,
Right. And Terrence, your positives. Actually, let JG go with the positives. Okay. JG's been fine for a bit. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And I went with positives because we've been talking about the negatives for so long. I'm like, let's get into the positives, because you guys make, even though I say the movie is garbage and trash, there are still positives to the movie. So go ahead, JG.
Yeah, when I say trash, I mean more so it didn't meet my expectations, right? Because I was so hyped for it. I love the Fantastic Four. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, when's it gonna start? Like that. That's how I'm pretty much into the most. But as far as positives go, yeah, I think casting across the board was really good. I was worried about the guy playing Ben Grimm because of the voice mainly, but I was cool with it. I was okay with it. I still think Michael Chiklis, I think that was the name, was the best Ben Grimm live action I've seen, but he did his thing. What else? The aesthetics, right? The costumes, the whole city, right? It was really well done. I really loved it. Visually, it was great. I know, Mike, you weren't a fan of the Silver Surfer surfing. I thought it was pretty cool. When they were going through the little wormhole, whatever, how she was kind of surfing, she was actually surfing through it and everything. I was like, damn, I kind of like this, right? Galactus, of course, seeing a huge giant live action Galactus was something I know we've all wanted to see for a long time, and that was good. Let's see what else. Of course, the end scene where they were trying to get that car seat in, bro. I was dying because anybody knows how that feels trying to get that freaking car seat in the car and you need help trying to get the straps in. We know that was hilarious.
JG, did you ask me a question? Because I was listening. I went to go eat my pizza and I was listening, and then you said Mike something, and then a commercial came on. So I didn't hear what your question
I'm not always trying to fight you, bro. I'm not always trying to fight you.
No. I thought you were asking a question or something like that.
No. I was saying that I remember you saying that you weren't a fan of the surfing. I think that's what you said.
No. I like the surfing. No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, Ozzo was the one that had a problem with the surfing. The CG.
Okay,
Who,
yeah.
me? No, I don't have a problem.
Oh, it was a
Oh, wait, then
CG.
maybe it was no, it was CG.
No, the
CG,
only
okay.
thing I said was I wish she would have been a little bit more silvery. You know what I mean? Like a brighter type of silver, but that was it. I thought Surfer was fine. Absolutely. And I'm not the one that's sitting here like, oh, I can't believe they used the Silver Surfer. Nah, bro. I ain't saying that. She was fire. 100%. I wish I would have seen more with her, right? And that's and again, that's where I'm sorry to cut you off, JG, but I'm just saying that's where I get into, like, I think she should have had a better fight with some of them. You know what I mean? There could have been a climax where they actually have a real fight instead of just a chase, you know? So that, go ahead.
You know what? You think about it. Maybe this should have been more of them fighting the Silver Surfer, and the Silver Surfer fails and goes to Galactus saying, I failed. And like Thanos said, I'll do it myself, right?
Yeah.
Now Doom comes in. Now they have to work with Doom. Of course, he has his own agenda he's doing on. So he's pretending to work with him. Really, he's trying to get rid of Galactus so he can take over. You know, they could have done so much more with it. But it is what it is. What else was positives? The robot. I thought that was a nice touch.
Kirby? Yeah.
That little robot, I thought that was a little R2D2 little thing. Yeah, that was a nice touch. I wish it wasn't so dark throughout the whole film. Of course, I guess it fit, the aesthetics and everything, but I just wish it was a little more brighter. Other than that, yeah, that's about it I can think of for now.
Well, it wasn't Zack Snyder.
Yeah, it wasn't next side of grayscale, nothing like that, but
Yeah.
I wish it had been a little more brighter.
All right, T, positives.
Positives. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, some of the aspects of the movie did surprise me, because I just was not looking forward to it at all. So my positives would be that the whole 60s thing, what they did with the visual effects, I thought they looked pretty good. I wish like, even though I was fine with the female Silver Surfer, Shala Ball, like I wish they would have made her shinier and a little bit more sexier, make her stand out a little more. So
would you want bigger breast terms?
Oh, everything, like how she looks in the comics. I'm just saying, like, but yeah, I wasn't mad at it. But
not for nothing, Terrence. She had a little something going on in the back. Sometimes,
yeah, she had a little something, but it's almost like the CGI guys was like, all right, yeah, we can't do a little bit too much. We gotta like leave her alone and go touch up Galactus and CGI.
She was a white girl, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Wow.
So
Mike,
hold on, let him finish.
Okay, so like I said, the 60s stuff I thought worked really well. I kind of was against that initially. I'm like, nah, put them in modern times, but the 60s stuff worked. The visuals I thought were pretty good overall. I like the design of Galactus. I thought they made him, the realization of him and his stature, especially when he's first introduced and it's like his head is kind of blending in with the stars before he leans forward and you see his head. I'm like, that should look great in IMAX. What else? When the movie opens, when they give you that montage, everybody loves them, all the villains they fought, it was like I got 65 years of Fantastic Four within like 5 or 10 minutes. And I thought that was so good that I'm like, why don't you make a movie about that? So, I thought that was nice. Let me see, there was a few other ones. Even though I have some issues with the casting of the four overall, I feel like they did accomplish the family aspect. You know what I mean? Like, I like that, because at least I'm like, okay, I do have a problem with some of the casting, but at least if you can make them feel like a family, I'm not going to give you a complete L. So I do like that. I also liked how Reed Richards was intelligent this time. He wasn't like a dumbass like in Doctor Strange 2. Like, I like how he was always working in the lab. He was filling up the chalkboard with equations. And it was even to the point to where, he got so consumed by his work that his wife would have to go out and do some of the communication. Like, hey, are you coming? No, I got some shit to work on. And, I like that, because that's what he does. In fact, that's a lot of the reasons why his team gets mad at him sometimes, because he gets hyper focused on his inventions and helping everybody else, that sometimes he forgets that, like, hey, you know, you got a family here. We love and care about you. You know, give us a little bit more attention, Reed. You know, so I like that. You know, they got that right, even though I still not buying Pedro in the role of Reed Richards, but I do like how
it was good.
To me, he doesn't fit. I think that's a miscast. But like in terms of what they displayed with him, like the intelligence and everything, and the hyper focusedness, you know, I think that worked. So I do appreciate that, because to me, it's important that you showcase the smartest mind in the universe correctly via his intelligence, something that, you know, we can point to in the film to go, damn, you know, that's the smartest guy in the room. Like if you need something to be figured out, like Reed can do it, right? So that, and then one last thing, I do like the design of the thing. You know, it looks like they snatched them out of the comics. You know, I have my my issues with the voice and, you know, the presentation of him, but I thought he looked good. You know,
Geeky, your mic is fine. You're breathing into it though. That's why you're breathing into the mic.
And I think that the way that they set it up, right, to where you don't have to watch any of the other MCU content to understand. I think that's a smart move, because you needed time to, you know, flesh out the Fantastic Four to where you don't want them to be boggled down by like 15 years of the MCU. So I thought that was one of the positive aspects too.
Yeah. Geeky, you got to put your headphones back on. It's just you were breathing into your mic, so we could hear you breathing. It was fine, but now we hear the echo of the stream. So put your headphones back on like you had it before.
Oh shit! One last thing I can't believe I forgot about this shit. So technically it's a two-part. So Franklin Richards was adorable, and I like how they hinted at his power. And then Sue, I thought she was really good. To me, I'm like, Sue is perfect. Even though I had an issue with what she was doing with Galactus in the end, it was like, you know, Vanessa Kirby is pretty, like she fit, and you know, I liked how she was like gentle and nurturing, and how she, you know, went outside and was like, hey, this is my son. I was feeling that. If anything, I was looking at the rest of the characters like, damn, y'all need to step y'all shit up. Sue is on point.
She was. So yeah, I agree with you. I think she was great. Especially when she did her little speech at the end. This is my son Franklin, and you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sacrifice my son, but I'm not gonna sacrifice my planet for my son. I thought that speech was absolutely great. And I get it too, right? Like Mike said, I get it. You do a speech like that, and then you have the planet get destroyed. But I think at the end of the day, I think it would have been a little bit better, because it shows that these guys can fail, right? They're not these perfect human beings or these perfect superpowers that win all the time. So I don't have a problem with the bad guy winning in certain situations. But I also loved the fact when they were, first off, Galactus was on point. You know, when they went to go see Galactus, I was just sitting there like waiting for those eyes to open, because I wanted to see that scene in IMAX. You know what I mean? And then the eyes open up, boom, and then he starts speaking, and the voice and everything with Galactus was on point. I thought it was great. When they were leaving that scene and they're fighting the Silver Surfer, I love the fact that they were in the warp and Johnny was shooting, but the lasers were going around the time, the warp. You know what I mean? And he's like, it's warp. So I like that. I like when you stay a little bit true to science to that. I just think they messed it up when they went to the Event Horizon and they didn't have a time lapse when they got back. But other than that, I thought that was great. When Galactus hits the planet, you know what I mean? He gets to the planet, boom, and then he picks up the dirt and he sniffs it, and you know, you know, Johnny looks at him like, what? You know what I mean? And the fact that he didn't fall for the okie doke, you know, because again, we're talking about someone older than the universe, and you're gonna get him with this, oh, we're gonna switch the baby and then do all that. So I was glad that he didn't fall for that. He made the one step and was like, nah, like he could sense that Richards wasn't there. You know what I mean? And I'm guessing that he can sense Reed Richards, Franklin's powers, right? So when he got close to it, he was like, yeah, no, something's not right here. So I did enjoy that. the visual effects of him just destroying and walking around the city were fire. Like I was like, and anytime Galactus came into the scene, I was like, yeah, this is what I came for. Because personally, that's what I went to go see the movie. I like Terrence. I always said I thought it was going to be good. I said I think it's going to be good, and that's because of Galactus, right? So the Galactus stuff didn't disappoint me. It's just that it, like, so I don't know if the actual runtime of the movie, I have to see if it's actually
2 hours.
It's exactly 2 hours.
It's really
roughly,
short, man. Everything was
like
happening pretty fast.
Maybe 2 and 3 minutes or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but so when they do that, does that include the end credits and the list? Because on my site here, because on my site here, it's only an hour and 45 minutes, right?
Yeah,
and they didn't, nothing's cut out.
Yeah, it's a short movie, Nzo. Like everything, aside from the slow moments,
it's good. You're just breathing into it. Go ahead, Terrence.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, like to me, even though you have slow moments, it's a short movie. You know, I feel like maybe another 30 minutes, maybe. Like, I don't know.
But that's why when I talk about the only two the two fight scenes, right? The two action sequences, it seems longer than that. And it's a short movie, right? It's just because the first half of the movie, you don't get anything until 40 minutes into the movie. And I was like, what are we doing here, bro?
It's 1 hour and 55 minutes, Nzo.
1 hour and 55 minutes exactly?
That's what it says, yeah.
Okay, so and I think that's with the credits and everything, because I don't think anything is, I didn't watch it fully, so I don't think anything is cut out from this copy, but there could be. So it could actually be an hour and 55 minutes. But either or, I just think it kind of felt long because the first 45 minutes, nothing happens. You know what I mean? And I think you could have done a little bit better than that. Then after the chase scene, there's another 40 minutes where nothing happens again, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You're trying to decipher and figure out how to do it and all of that, but it's just like, okay, guys, like, we got to do something in between this stuff. So that's the only thing that I have. But other than that, man, the female surfer, she was good. I didn't have a problem with Pedro, right? I thought he was good. And by the time half of the movie went, I felt like he was Reed Richards. You know what I mean? I felt like he was Reed Richards. Ben, I'm like, Mike, when I seen the trailer, I was like, man, they got to do something with his voice. But after watching the movie, I didn't have an issue with it. I was like, okay, good. And I think Flink was a good character too. You know what I mean? I like the character. I like the fact that, you know, he was the one taking care of the baby when Reed Richards was trying to figure it out, you know. And I also said earlier, I like the fact that it was Johnny that figured out the language, because it showed that Johnny wasn't dumb, right? That because usually in the other alliterations, Johnny's just this womanizer. And I say, when you have a bunch of geniuses, they're not hanging around with some dumb dude, even if it's a family member. You know what I mean? They're going to stick with their genius friends. They're going to stick with that. They're not going to, like, so I like the fact that they did that. I thought that was really good. So I enjoyed that. You know, so.
Yeah. Hey, Nzo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nzo. So I got to bring this up to both you and Mike. I just remembered this. So earlier in the comics and like the early Fantastic Four comics, remember when I made a rant earlier about Doctor Doom not having a scarred face for Doomsday? I just remembered in the early issues of the Fantastic Four comics, they explained that the reason why Doom wears that mask is because he's more mentally scarred than physically scarred. But then later on, it became more of a physical thing.
Okay. But for me,
I mean, either way, he's supposed to have the goddamn mask.
Yeah, he does. He has the mask because they showed in the end credits. So he has the mask, right? They show him holding it.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have a problem. I'm just hoping that Robert Downey Jr. feels like Doom and not like Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like, not like Tony Stark. You know, that's what I have an issue with. But I also think that Robert Downey Jr. is a good enough actor. Listen, he played a black man in Tropic Thunder. He can play a black man in Tropic Thunder. He can play anything.
Some humans thought he was black. He did such a good job. I was like, yeah. Shout out to
There were people who actually believed he was black.
Yes. Some of my friends that didn't know, his other movies and stuff, they was like, man, I never seen this black actor T. I'm like, he's not black. And I was showing them the real picture. They're like, wait, what the fuck? Are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm sure this is him. Yep. So yeah, he was able to fool individuals, which is the point of quality acting, that you're able to convince the audience that you're whatever character that you're playing.
Yeah. He just can't feel like Tony Stark. That's the thing. You know what I mean? And then one last thing before you go. And one last thing. Even though he may not feel like Tony Stark, are we gonna still see Tony Stark? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, he's playing Doom, but nah, that's Tony Stark. So
that's why I was against them, Cass. I'm like, after they fucked over Jonathan Majors, I was like, what you do next to get individuals to feel good? You bring in RDJ, but he's not Superior Iron Man. He's Dr. Doom from a What If storyline. Like, what? What
were you gonna say, Geeky?
Okay, so what I was gonna say is, can you just imagine? I'm gonna do like a little Tony Stark impression. Can you just imagine if like Doomsday comes out and we see a scene of him like in Latveria and one of his servants saying, "Excuse me, Dr. Doom, would you like a cheeseburger?" And he looks at him like, "No, thank you. I fucking hate cheeseburgers, and I hate all of you 3,000. I have successfully privatized world domination."
Oh my God! If that happens, I'm walking out the fucking theater.
Imagine if he like does the Tony Stark thing, but just with a Latvian accent.
Right, and it's like it's supposed to be a cute thing because he's from another. No, miss me with that. No.
Yeah.
Or they could give him a sense of humor, like how he did as Tony Stark.
Well, Dr. Doom has a sense of humor, but he's not supposed to have Tony Stark's sense of humor.
Yeah, okay, that's correct. He has more like a very dry, deadpan sort of sense of humor.
Right. When he says something, it's like you're thinking about, was that supposed to be a joke or should we be running away?
Yeah. I mean, Mike, I am right before about Dr. Doom initially wearing the mask for him being mentally scarred, right?
Well, it depends on what you're reading. Sometimes they've done that, and other times they haven't. It all depends on who's writing the Fantastic Four at the time, because they do want to make it like, what's the word? Psychological sometimes, and then other times, like there was a thing where I forgot who it was who was writing it, where they finally did take his mask off, and it looked fine. It was just him feeling like he was scarred, and then eventually something happened, and he got the actual scar. So they fluctuate on that. It depends on who's writing it.
Right, but it's always been a psychological thing either way. That's what makes it interesting with Victor Von Doom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Because his hubris and his sense of vanity is so huge that he can't bear being reminded of his failures with his scarred face.
And also, he believes he's so right that he was able to trick Boss, the Panther God. I'm like, you know how psychotic and intelligent you have to be to trick yourself into thinking you're right and also tricking a god?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he tricked a god until now. God damn, that's one of his great feats.
Yeah.
Anybody have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts is...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Geeky.
Go ahead,
Geeky. Go ahead.
Final thoughts is Nzo is full of shit, and this movie was awesome.
JG?
Yeah, look, if I take my hypeness out of it, right? If I take all that out, just look at it for what it is, it's not a bad movie. Is it a top 3 MCU movie? Hell no. For me, if it wasn't an origin story, but it felt like an origin story. Mm-hmm. Right, as far as all the talking, I'll say wasn't enough action, it wasn't enough. It just felt like it felt incomplete. Like like you could tell they took a lot out that probably should have been in. That's why I would love to see whatever deleted scenes that they have. Yeah, overall, man, I know I like to say trash, because it's fun. It's fun to say it, but it wasn't really trash. It just wasn't what I expected. It didn't meet my expectations because I am like Black Adam, huge fan. It just really disappointed me. Right, this didn't really disappoint me. I just felt like, I just felt like the steak is uncooked and needs to go back and get warmed up again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Mike, final thoughts?
Yeah, JG don't know what he's talking about. Number one. Number
I
two,
never do, Mike.
Yeah, this was an enjoyable movie. I wasn't too bothered with the pacing of it. I'm getting tired. I'm getting it's like there's a pattern with these superhero movies, and they need to slow it down and stop racing to hit those same beats or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this it kind of did that. But then I also said it kind of bugged me that there was no origin, but it didn't bother me that much where it just took away from the enjoyment of it, because you know Superman did the same thing. And I guess this is the era of where we're in right now, because whenever Secret Wars happens, apparently it's going to be like a reboot. So if they're going to be casting new actors in these roles, I don't think we're going to be seeing origin movies after that, because that would just be stupid, you know. Unless they're rebooting them in a different universe or whatever, like a Kevin Feige universe or something, you know, because Devon had taken over.
Do you think it's possible that when they do the reset, we can get an actually Infinity Gauntlet like we're supposed to get, because now they have all the characters? You think they would do that? I don't think they would return to that point.
I think they're gonna do a whole new thing.
I could see them doing something like that.
I think they'll bring in Avengers West Coast. They can do all this stuff.
I don't think so, because Kevin Feige said they're going to focus on the mutants. It's going to be the mutant saga. Like, that's supposed to be the next 10 years after Secret Wars.
Well, see, just like I'm also hoping that they don't do anything with Dark Phoenix, because Fox like fucked that up totally.
Right. Just stay away from that for like 9 years, and then you can maybe get back to it. Yeah.
What they need to do is Age of Apocalypse, Onslaught, and something like that. You know what I mean? Something we haven't seen yet. Do that stuff and keep it. I know they're gonna do their Marvel stuff, but keep it as comic book accurate as you can. I don't want to see a 1-to-1 version. I never do, right? That's why I don't have a problem with Infinity War and Endgame, because I didn't really care to see an exact version. If I really want to see that, I can read the comic again. But I like what they did with X-Men 97, with the 97, the reboot, whatever, the part 2. I like what they did with that, because they kind of stayed true to comic book stuff, but they put their own kind of twist on it. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. So that's what I want the MCU to start doing. They do that, and I think almost majority of their movies will be billion-dollar movies. You know what I mean? If they keep it close enough to the comics where you can say that it's different, but you understand the same beats and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's what I say. Terrence, final words?
Yeah, my final words was the movie surprised me. You know, it was all right. I thought it was going to be trash. I thought it was better than Thunderbolts and Captain America 4. So yeah, I didn't think I would end up saying that, because I don't like the Fantastic Four. I always thought they were a boring team. I like their villains, and the Thing is my boy. Like, he's the only one I care about. But you know, to me, man, overall, the movie was okay. That's what I think.
I got you. And I'm gonna kind of echo JG, where I'm like, I don't like it. I do think it's garbage. But if I put, you know, my stuff aside, I can understand where people would like it, right? Some people like when they have movies where there's a lot of character development, and you get the like, because that's what the first half of the movie was, to get to feel them as a family and stuff like that. I just think the pacing was off. I think you could have did a little bit more, but I can actually understand why people don't have a problem with that, because you're building up these characters. It is their first movie, and you want to do it right. So I get that, right? But I do agree, it kind of felt like an origin story, but it wasn't. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't like the movie, but I can see why other people do. And I'll say, I guess it could be okay. Dude,
wait, Anzo, so you didn't?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Wait, you didn't wear a Fantastic Four shirt when you saw the movie, Anzo?
Hey, nah, man. But I went there and I was like, oh man, that popcorn bucket looks really good. But there was no way in hell I was paying $90 for the popcorn bucket. I was
Hell
not doing
no. What the unless it comes with Jessica Alba, I'm not paying no $90 for the popcorn bucket.
I wasn't doing that, you know what I mean? So, but other than that, yeah, I thought, again, movie could have been better. I think Superman is better. I even think Brave New World is better. So I'm gonna just say that. So that's my opinion, you know. And Anik, if you don't like it, well, too bad for you, homie. I'm sticking to my guns, and I will always stick to my guns. Just like I say, the Batman is trash, the Penguin is trash.
Whoa.
Batman Begins is trash.
Anzo, why you gotta give me a heart attack before the stream ends, man? Why you gotta do that?
No, they're all trash.
You guys are just encouraging this. You realize that, right?
What's that, Mike?
I said they're just encouraging this. They're encouraging your you see, because you got JG agreeing with you. You guys are agreeing on this movie, so that's enabled you to come up with all this other crazy shit that you're coming out here now.
Man,
so, wait, hold on, Mike. The Batman isn't trash?
No, it's not trash at all.
No. Hold on. I asked Mike. Mike, the Batman isn't trash?
I know it actually is. It is. But I'm talking about Penguin. Wow. You said Penguin. You threw Penguin in there.
Yeah, Penguin's trash.
Well, have you seen Penguin, Ozo?
I've seen the first 2 episodes and I was done.
Okay, never mind.
See now, I'm gonna be dead because first Anzo gave me a heart attack, and Mike surprised me with a powerful one. I don't know if I'm gonna make
it. So the Batman is trash. The Nolans are trash, right?
Wow.
Penguin is trash.
Wow.
Wait, the Nolan Batmans aren't trash?
No.
They're
a standard for what, like, so like if you look at The Dark Knight, that's not just a great comic book movie, that's a great movie where they teach about that in college classes.
I would say this, or after Mike goes.
No, go ahead, JG. Because me and Mike's gonna get together.
I'm gonna say this. They are not great Batman movies, they are really good movies. So if that makes any sense.
Anzo likes Thor: The Dark World, which should
I do too. And I do too. Now what? I like it too.
So I like it too. The Dark World was mid, but it has some good stuff in it. That's where I said.
That's exactly so. There you go. And even though you guys think I'm crazy for saying it's good, it's not a horrible movie. But we're talking about horrible movies, which is the Batman, which is Penguin, which is Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight Rises. Right? We're going to talk about that. Those are all
Brother Anzo, can I breathe? I just was coming back to life, and you killing me again. Like what?
Let's not act like you didn't notice, Terrence, because I say it all the time. You know, and Mike agrees with me, so I'm glad with that. Mike, tell him, Mike, tell him.
Don't do it, Mike. I'm barely alive right now.
Oh, Mike must have stepped away. Mike must have stepped away. Oh, there you go. No, there you go. Tell them, Mike. Tell them how trash this movie there, please.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing. There's nothing remotely salvageable, comic booky about those movies. Like it's almost like watching somebody. Like there's this thing these days where people get all bent out of shape because an actor happens to say something in an interview, and then they take that personally and they get offended and they clutch their pearls and stuff like that. This was a director who clearly did not like superhero movies, making a superhero movie and denying the fact that it was based on comic books. When you have a director who can't even admit that the source material is based on comic books, that's an issue. Tony Gilroy does not like Star Wars at all, but at least he did a good job showing it. And he was out front with it and saying he didn't like Star Wars. He was like, you know, it's like I remember one time Christina Aguilera was on David Letterman, and she's like, oh, this is the album I was born to write. These songs are like the greatest songs I've ever written. And it's like, bitch, you just need to sell this album. Just come out and say that. That's why, like, when people give Gene Simmons from Kiss shit, I'm like, dude, when he comes out and people say, you know, why'd you put out a new album? He's like, oh, well, I needed to get my wife new tits, or I needed to get an extension on my garage or whatever. It's never like, oh, these are the songs that mean the band felt that like are the greatest songs that Kiss ever wrote. It's like he's just out front with his shit. So Christopher Nolan can't even do the dignity of doing that instead of just, you know, oh, I'm Chris Nolan and here's my pretentious bullshit, which
I do. Why do you like the
Penguin, Mike? Because the Mike ain't
now. I'm just letting you know. Like,
Mike,
it's nice on you.
Why do you like the Penguin then? If the Penguin's not like any of it's exactly like the Nolan movies and the Batman.
Because I did the thing where I'm like, well, I mean, I know they keep trying to pigeonhole the Penguin, no pun intended, the Penguin into a where he's like, you know, a mob boss or something like that. Like, to me, honestly, I want all of Batman's villains to be batshit. I want them to be as batshit crazy as he is. I don't want them to be like, you know, just variants of like, you know, Tony Soprano or something like that. And that's what they keep making the Penguin. I want him to be like Tim Burton crazy. Like, you know, with like the fucking flippers and the blood down his mouth and shit like that. That's how I want.
But Mike, didn't you think it was cool? Because to me, I know you know this, Mike, but it's like, to me, when they showed that he had brothers and that he killed them, I'm like, I can't believe they took that from the comics, because most humans don't know that the Penguin had brothers at one point.
Right. No. That's what he's asking me, why I like Penguin. And the main thing, to be honest with you, like Terrence was talking about earlier, the acting. Like, Colin Farrell was not in that fucking TV show at all. He was not. There was one brief moment, like a blink and you miss it moment, where you saw Colin Farrell. Every other minute of that 9-episode season or whatever, He was not in there. That was some dude that was playing the transformation was impeccable. The same way I hope Fantastic Four gets Oscars for the set design and the cinematography and all that stuff. That's like when it came out, and because dude, I was doing Fortnite streams at the time, and they were forcing me to watch. I'm like, I'm not watching. I don't want to fucking watch Penguin. Like, I barely like the Batman. I mean, Matt Reeves cannot direct to save his life. Okay, he's a nice dude. I've seen him in interviews and all that. He's a very pleasant dude, but like, he cannot. Like, he should be directing. I don't even. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if I want him directing Hallmark movies. But that's the level of direction that he does. Okay, and that's what he brought to the Batman. But the Penguin, I finally sat down and watched it, and dude, the acting. And it just literally the performance. I said Colin Farrell and the makeup people deserve to win all the awards. Anybody? And I was like, who else? Because when they announced the Emmys, and I'm like, who else is in the category? And they're like naming people or whatever. I'm like, nope. Colin Farrell, he's the one that deserves this award.
I just realized that I must be a cosmic being because I'm taking all this damage from Brother Nzo and Mike simultaneously. So, you know, I just learned that tonight.
So then, Mike, you only really liked it because you thought the acting was good. Because other than that, it's not fantastical. It's in the same universe as the Batman. So it's the same kind of real life kind of stuff. So, like, I don't know. I guess. Right.
It was kind of. It was kind of like the Greg Rucka, like the GCPD stuff. It was kind of like that was like more like less superhero-y and more like, you know, NYPD Blue-ish kind of thing, you know, where it was all about the police department and stuff like that. So that's kind of how my brain processed it. Again, it was like I said, it was literally The Sopranos in Gotham. That's all it was. And I mean, exactly. at least it wasn't fucking Chicago, okay? Like Christopher Nolan did, okay? It was Gotham. It wasn't Tim Burton's Gotham, but any Gotham that's not Christopher Nolan's Gotham is Gotham.
Danny came in saying, "Stop the hate."
Danny,
you need to go back to the beginning if you want to hear like some superior hate, because Nzo.
I was speaking facts, bro. I was speaking 100%
He's trying to compensate for all the sadness he's feeling that Hulk Hogan died. Okay, he's trying to compensate for that by just striking out.
I'm just gonna see if I still have my number for my therapist, because this one is really causing me pain.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Since the Penguin was the main character in Gotham, the main villain, they should have showed his brothers. They did show his mother. Yeah, I don't care. Penguin's trash. Never watched any of. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, nope, I'm good. He said, Mike, did you like Fantastic Four better than Superman?
You know, for the longest time, for about the past month or so, Pickle's been trying to tell me which one I've been looking forward to the most. And I'm like, why do I have to pick? Like, we are eating good right now. Like, we got 2 good comic book movies, one after the other.
Answer the question, man.
I enjoyed both of them. I enjoyed both of them the same.
Okay.
I enjoyed Superman as a DC movie. I enjoyed Fantastic Four as a Marvel movie. Like I didn't have there were little nitpicks for me as a comic book fan, but nothing that took away from my enjoyment of the movies.
Okay,
Superman was awesome, and everybody that was on the Fantastic Four was awesome. I mean,
that's a great question. Between the two, I did enjoy Superman more, but that's because I don't like the Fantastic Four in terms of the comics, right? I've never liked them. So naturally, I'm going to enjoy Superman more, but that doesn't change the fact that I do think that Fantastic Four is decent and that they did do a lot of stuff right while fumbling other aspects. And that's just me being honest.
Well, see, that's the mark of a good movie, because then you went
Superman
in with no expectations, but you still enjoyed it.
Wait, what? Danny, don't make me hit you with a Fantastic Four comic, Danny.
Okay, JG, say it louder, JG, so Danny can hear you.
I enjoy Superman more.
As did I. Danny, Anzo was smoking a lace blunt because he was speaking nonsense. I didn't speak no nonsense at the beginning of the stream, and nothing I said was nonsense. The only person that came in here to disagree with what I had to say was Mike, and then Geeky Guy too. But Terrence,
no, it wasn't just nonsense. It was like straight hate.
No, it was stupidness.
Yes, it was stupidness, but yet you were saying it. We couldn't understand it.
No, things in the movie did not make sense. They just did not make sense. I'm sorry. We're not doing it. JG, you are dead to me now. So, you know what, Danny? Because you crying that, Superman is Fantastic Four was better than Superman. You crying about that. But so far, Mike, he won't answer that. Terrence said Superman is better. JG said Superman was better. Brian said it was better. Brandman said it was better. And Tank said it was a little bit better. So far, every single one of us has been saying that Superman is better than the Fantastic Four, except you.
But see, I understand this is a thing, like, when you say, like, who would win in a fight, the Hulk or the Thing or whatever, but, like, we don't have to have these. We can enjoy both of these things. Like, they were both good. Stop.
We can, 100%. 100%.
But see, Alonso, this is how we get to the extremes that we're at right now because of stuff like this. Like, I mean, we're all friends here. We're just hanging out and we're talking and stuff like that. But there's some people that take this shit seriously, and we call them Snyder Bros. And it just goes. Yeah. And it's even not even them. Like, there's even like these gun people now, and it's stuff like that. And it's like, yo, y'all need to dial this shit down a little bit, because both things can be true, and you can like both things, and you can hate one thing and not like the other, and other people go like, it's just the way these people are today. They're so tribal. It's like, stop it. We got
first off, movies. The movie just came out yesterday, so we don't have a definitive of the weekend box office. But as I keep telling you, box office doesn't mean nothing, because Transformer movies have made $1 billion and they're all trash. Absolutely. So box office doesn't mean nothing.
Box office is not, as I keep telling humans and as I have told them for the last 9 years, box office is not necessarily an indication of quality. It has to do more with popularity.
Facts.
Facts. And like I've been amused in a disgusted way seeing these people try to twist themselves into pretzels by comparing, Superman versus Man of Steel adjusted for inflation. And it's like, adjusted for inflation. Yeah. So wait, how are you going to adjust it for the fact that the rest of the world hates us, so it's not going to do as much internationally? Or how are you going to adjust it to take into the fact that apparently the quote unquote is now that we're in a superhero fatigue, when back then everything was just starting out? How are you stop with this shit? Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And I don't even buy into the superhero fatigue anymore. I never did, because if you make a good movie, they're gonna come. People like Terrence said, Doomsday and Secret War are probably gonna make $3 billion. And if they're even on the level of Infinity War and Endgame, bro, those movies are gonna blow up. So I don't actually believe in superhero fatigue. I just think people didn't care about the movies they were making. People didn't care about
that's what I've been
Brave
saying,
New
yeah.
World, even though I thought it was good. People didn't really care about the Thunderbolts. People didn't
Right.
care about Eternals. People didn't care about Shang-Chi. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why those movies didn't do good. But then when you brought out Daredevil and Wolverine, $1 billion. You know what I mean? So
I can't get mad at Eternals because Eternals was made because it's kind of like the Batman, the who's better, Batman or Superman argument. It's like people were complaining that the Marvel movies were all the same. They were just like, it's the same thing. They want something that's different. So this chick came in, she did something different, and then people are like, oh, this isn't like Marvel. And it's like, but y'all were complaining that you wanted something different. She does something different, and then you're saying, no, you don't like it because it's not the thing you were complaining about before. So, like, do people really know exactly what they want?
Hey, Mike, I wish we would have really got like Eternals, man. Like that'd have been cool, like from how they are in Marvel Comics, like that.
So hold on. Anik said, Nzo, men lie, women lie, Nzo lie, but numbers don't lie. But numbers don't always tell the truth, right? So LeBron James has way more numbers and points than Michael Jordan, but is he better than Michael Jordan? No. So numbers don't always tell the full story, right? You can have a movie that makes all its money in the first week and it looks like it's going to kill it, and then second week has a 7% drop off, right? So the numbers don't tell the whole context. And like I said, just because you have $1 billion movie, like so far leading the pack, and because it came out first, it's still leading the pack, which is the Jurassic Park movie. The Jurassic Park movie is garbage.
Ass.
That movie is garbage.
They gotta stop making movies, but they won't because it keeps 100%. They keep making money. If it stopped making money, maybe they would stop. But they need to. It's like they should have stopped it after the first one. Like that was ridiculous.
I thought this was big before it.
Love dinosaurs, yeah.
I thought this was bigger for it entertainment. Sounds like a night in the Canadian echo chamber. So first off, I'm the only Canadian on the panel, Danny, and second off, Mike has been challenging me since he came in here. Like he just
rewind, Danny, rewind.
Yeah,
right.
Mike,
and Nzo and I have disagreed on a few points.
But mine are always right though, so we're just gonna say that. But
wow, you know what, Nzo? Just where's the button where you end the street? Go ahead and press that.
Doomsday will struggle to make $1 billion because there's no build up for it. I disagree. I think just the fact that, because again, what we've seen is that these ensemble movies, No Way Home or Far From Home, whichever one the last one Spider-Man was, I'm always getting mixed up. Deadpool, Wolverine, when they do these type of things where they're bringing characters in from other universes, I think it's going to make a lot of money. The reason why Ant-Man, no, not Ant-Man, Doctor Doom, the reason why, not Doctor Doom, Jesus, Doctor Strange. The reason why I think Doctor Strange didn't have that same hype is because I think people didn't like the way they used the characters that they brought in.
That's right.
You brought them in, you killed them off right away, which I didn't have a problem with, but I could see why other people did.
But you know why they brought them in, though. They were essentially they were just there for Wanda to kill, so they can show how powerful she was.
Yeah, that's
the Illuminati.
Yeah, I get that 100%. But I'm saying that I don't have a problem with why they brought him in, Mike. But I'm also saying, but if they had bigger roles, if they had like a bigger fight, I think people would have been more accepting. Right. People just didn't like the way they died so quick, right? They didn't really do much, and I get why they did it. And I like why they did it. But people that want, you brought in Professor X just to kill him. Oh, you brought in this, that, and you killed him right away. So people were complaining about that.
The name of the movie, I mean, it's bad enough Scarlet Witch had as much of a role as she did in a Doctor Strange movie. Like, it was a Doctor Strange movie, but like,
right. And I wanted Doctor Strange to do more, but it kind of waited to the end of the movie to do something.
But it's still, I'm not going to get upset because 5 or 7 characters that are inconsequential to the MCU as the cinematic universe as a whole were killed. It doesn't matter. They were cannon fodder. They were just there to show how fucking psycho, batshit crazy, and powerful Wanda was. That's
They
it.
damn well cannon fodder, Mike.
That's what I'm saying. That's it.
I never
Yeah.
thought I would
That was
see
their
some shit
purpose.
like that. That's
It's
crazy.
like those people, dude. It's like those people with WandaVision getting upset because Reed Richards that wasn't the guy that Monica had or whatever. You know, she's like, I got a guy, and they were, oh, what if it's Reed Richards? What if it's Blue Marvel? It's like, stop it. They're not going to introduce Reed Richards in a TV show. Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever. And then Mephisto. I understand why they arrived at the Mephisto thing. But it's like, stop, calm down with it. You're setting yourself up for failure if you keep assuming something.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, hold on. And he said it took almost 15 movies for Endgame and Infinity War to almost touch up 2 billion. Yeah, but 2 billion is a mark that movies rarely make. But the first movie
in history. Yeah.
Right. But the first movie in the MCU to make $1 billion was the first Avengers. So I mean,
right.
Like I'm only saying it's going to make 2 or 3 billion because of the cast in it. But usually these movies don't make $2 billion. I could Google now, and I'm pretty sure there's. Let me Google it. How many movies have made $1 billion?
So Nzo, look. Remember what I said earlier? I'm like, when you have everybody and their grandmother in a movie and they're Marvel characters, you're gonna make 2-3 billion. It don't matter what the story is. Everybody's going to see the teasers and all these characters, and they're going to show up.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. So here's the thing. Currently, 7 movies have grossed over $2 billion worldwide box office. 7.
Damn, that ain't shit. That ain't even 1%.
All of the movies, right, that's exactly. So of all the movies that they've made, only 7 have made $2 billion. So I'm not using $2 billion as the barometer, but I can promise you that Doomsday and Endgame will make $1 billion.
Let's put some perspective. Let's put some perspective, right? So Spider-Man No Way Home made 1.9 billion, right? And that's just with Spider-Man. He's the most popular Marvel character. And then you look at Deadpool and Wolverine, right? That made over $1 billion, and you had a bunch of cameos there. So imagine more cameos than what we got in Deadpool and Wolverine. You mean to tell me that that's not going to easily make like 2-3 billion?
Yeah, 100%. Now it has to be done right. Let's put it that way, right? You can't just bring them in there, and it has to be done right. Mike, Danny said, JG, have you ever heard of the story of the scorpion and the frog? You gonna let Nzo fool you tonight? Then next week he gonna show you why he is the scorpion. Don't fall for the okie doke. Wow, Danny, that's great. Man. I heard Mordo was supposed to die in the beginning. Absolutely, somebody's phone is ringing, and he said, "And Danny, this will be the last thing before we go." So Danny said, "Y'all see the Avatar 3 trailer? Man, it looked fire." So I seen it. They showed it at the beginning of my movie, and I was on my phone, right? And I seen the Avatar, and I was like, "Oh, okay," because I heard they were bringing back Avatar 2 in theaters. So I thought they were just promoting that. But I happened to look up, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this isn't Avatar 2." So I started watching it, and I was like, "You know what? This kind of looks fire."
Oh,
funny!
Stop it.
Fire!
No, Mike, it do it. Look fire! I can't deny it.
Look good. It look good.
Stop. That was the one trailer they showed. They showed one trailer only, and that was it. And I'm like, you wasted my time with this ass trailer. Like that was ass, dude.
Mike, let me tell you something. I didn't see the trailer because I was at a screening, like I had mentioned before.
Terrence. You missed nothing.
But Mike, check this out though. I saw some images online, and they were so powerful, and they look so good. My skin turned blue. So I can only imagine what's going to happen when I see the trailer.
What is it called? It's called Avatar 3 Fire and Ass or something like that, right?
Fire and ass.
Fire and ass. That's what I saw. Fire and ass. That's what it was. Ass. Stop it. Stop the madness. James Cameron needs to stop with these damn Avatar movies.
And it's funny because they didn't put the trailer online, did they?
No, I only saw it in the movie theater.
No, they're gonna release like an actual full trailer very soon, to my understanding.
Well, this was a full trailer. This trailer was like 2 minutes. 2 minutes of torture.
Yeah, it was a long trailer.
It was a long trailer, dude.
Yeah, it was a trailer, but they didn't like.
Yeah, it wasn't a teaser. It was literally 2 minutes long.
And what I'm gonna say is, and I don't know if people will agree with me, but that's what they need to do. They need to start putting these trailers back in theaters before they give it to us online, right?
Yeah.
Because when I went in there to watch, I was like, oh, great. Usually you go watch a movie and you've seen all the trailers because you've seen them online first, right? What they need to do is put it out. That's how it was when we were growing up. You go to a movie and you don't know what trailer you're going to get, and all of a sudden, boom, new Star Wars trailer comes up. I'm like, oh, man, you know what I mean? And I think that's I like the fact that they did that, and I hope they continue to do that. Drop the trailers in theaters first, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, give it to people online. That's what they should do.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
But guys, he said, I agree with you on about the trailer thing. Wow, Anik, you agree with something I said? Oh my God, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. Wow.
You're gonna have a heart attack, but never mind. Terrence dying over here multiple times. Let's see how it is.
yeah, but you only dying because you can't accept the truth. You know what I mean?
Wow, the truth or some blasphemy. I'm just saying, like sometimes in life.
If I was the only one that felt that way, I'd have been like, yeah, it could probably be blasphemy. But because Mike agrees with me, and I know Mike knows what he's talking about, 100% it's not blasphemy.
Oh, he only knows what he's talking about when he agrees with me.
That's why I told Mike that his was more powerful, because I'm like, how could Mike say this? See, there's one thing if you say something, Monzo, but then I'm just like, see, Mike know what time it is, right, Mike? Then Mike's like, well, actually, Terrence. I'm like, fuck, you killed me. It was just like, you were my last thread.
So the dead clock is right twice a day. Well, then you guys should be glad that you're right twice a day. I'm right all the time. You guys just need to get on board with the shit that I say. Like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I've been doing this a long time.
There's some serious Dr. Doom energy there. I am right all the time. Sounds familiar.
Oh, man. This was great, guys. Thank you guys for popping in. Much appreciated. Danny, I wish you would have popped in. You know what I mean? I put the link in the chat for everybody. It was just a random thing I wanted to do. So I thought you and Chris might have seen it and popped in, but I guess not. But, if you guys are going to do a review, let me know. I'll come over and trash this movie a little bit more as I did tonight, because I think I did a good job trashing the movie. I think I did a good job, and I think I made my points, and everybody agrees with my points. So with that being said, guys, we're going to close it up for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. Much appreciated. Mike, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
At my store.
Terrence, Terrence, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Yep, hello humans, Terrence here. You can find me at the World's Finest Team Up channel, myself and my friend Sean Stackhouse. Yep, we got a couple thousand videos over there. The channel's only about a year and a couple months old, but we're working on different things, trying to build it up. And over there, I'm in peace, because when I'm with my brother Nzo, apparently when you're with family, they be giving you heart attacks and shit. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
If you think this was a nightmare tonight, Danny, wait till Monday. Oh, I'm going to come with even more smoke for this movie. I want to watch it again. And I'm going to pick everything wrong just so that I can come in there Monday and do what I got to do. You know what I mean? I'm going to send this to YouTube for a strike. It's okay, brother. You can hate on it. It's okay. I know what I'm doing. JG, last but not least, you know what to do, brother. Take us home.
JG Shallon, terrific, the undefeated. Oh shit! I'm tired. Damn it. JG Shaolin, terrific, the undefeated, undisputed final boss of the 36 Chambers of Shaolin. Wee, Black Jim Kelly, martial artist, film actor. Nzo, the black guy. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in for this fire round table stream. Catch me live Wednesday nights on the OOC with the host Nzo, aka the Abbott, and the Osiris of the Shit Spliff King, and the Professor of Gunja, alongside his co-host Roberto, aka Mr. 100, aka No Trouble Did Anything Going to be Irie. No woman, no cry.
Bo.
And shout out to my uncle on the GGC who was in the building, and my homie Superwise. We held a mano de otra madre. We're gonna do something here soon. And since I'm dead to someone, I would not say their name.
Thank you very much. Very much. You see, that's what it should be. I say it all the time. If you ain't here, you don't need to get a fucking intro. All right? That's just it. Thank you, everybody, for coming around. Mike, stick around for a second. I want to ask you something after that.
Wait, real quick. I just wanted to ask you something.
Sure. And no, Terrence, we're not doing 10 hours.
That's not what I was gonna ask. Yep. See,
Okay.
sometimes. Yeah, no, I just serious question. So, obviously none of the 10-hour stuff, but are you willing to do 9 hours? I feel like that's much more reasonable.
This motherfucker. All right. This punk
Man, I was
ass.
dozing
knew
off
it
that
was
hour and a
gonna
half I was doing.
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna be so See what happens when you get contaminated with BS? You losing your power. Nah, bro. We keep power over there. But thank you guys, everybody. Much appreciated. Peace, love, and hair grease, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
I am inevitable.